views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is October the 9th, I believe, 2025, October the 9th, 2025, and I want to thank you for tuning in. If you want to join the conversation, all you have to do is call the number at 1-717-908-1834, and I'll open the mic and get you on here. And hell, you can join the conversation, just like I always do every week. I just ask that if you do call in, to try to keep in mind that other people want to talk, and try not to talk over people, and allow them to speak. I know people like to talk junk, and I don't mind that, but I don't think the people listening can understand. I mean, you can talk your junk, I don't care, but as long as people get to hear you and understand what you're talking about, then it's all well and good. I don't mind the back and forth, but whenever it gets a little, thrown off with all the confusion, I don't think that's entertaining at all. Other than that, just call in and have a good time, like you do every Thursday. I don't know. I've just pretty much thrown up my hands at this country, because at this point, there's nothing is going to change, and it's kind of depressing watching all of this stuff happen, and people not being able to push back the way I think it should be pushed back on, because this where we living at now is not a place that I know. This country is not a place, the way it is now, is not a place that I can respect. I still, Elisa and Jay said last week that they had hope, and I got a little hope, but it's fading quickly. I don't know if there's ever going to be a way to turn this around. And that's because democracy is so fragile. And I knew that years ago when I was trying to explain to people that the Constitution and the rule of law was just as fragile and ignorant as religion. That's the comparison that I was making. When we had Black Jesus Minister and the Hebrew Israelites calling in here, the guy from the UK, and everybody was promoting what's that guy named Louis Farrakhan, and the other little leprechaun, I can't think of his name, the little light-skinned dude, Elijah Muhammad. And I think we started talking about the 5%ers, all these ideologies, right? The Muslims, all these, what's up, East Coast? All of these ideologies, to me, they kind of came into existence in the same manner at some point in time in history. there was a human or a group of humans um, to deal with whatever circumstances was in the environment. They came up with these concepts of belief, and they made it law, if you will. They made it holy. They made it a way of life and a belief system. And that's fine if people wanted to use that belief system to strengthen themselves, to make themselves brave, and to carry on in life. I don't see anything wrong with that, but it got bigger than that. It became to them incontrovertibly true that these things existed in their mind, and if you didn't live that way, then you was somehow another evil, right? And that's the same mindset that the Constitution or laws are developed at some point in time. There's humans that says this is the law and this isn't. And I can give you a perfect example of that when it comes to marijuana. you know, um, I don't smoke marijuana. I have in the past, but I don't smoke it. And if you do, enjoy it. Um, but there shouldn't be laws regulating that plant. I, but at some point in time in history, some humans came up with this concept and said, okay, this is illegal. This plant is illegal because of whatever reason that they gave, and then it became law. So if you take that a little further and you look at the way the Constitution was developed, now the Constitution is a way more important than general laws like for marijuana or speeding or anything like that, because you're talking about laws to keep a nation in line, right? So I give a little bit more importance to the Constitution and those set of laws, because you were trying to control a group of people and keep them in line and make sure that they obey the laws that are different from the old laws that you're coming from, which was monarchy, I believe. And so I understand why they are needed, but that doesn't take away the fact that they're just as fragile as these religious laws. They can be manipulated just as much as these religious laws or doctrines, if you will. And that's all that I was saying years ago. But people didn't get that concept, because as soon as you say something against the Constitution, back then they were like, "Oh man, you anti-American. You don't like this country." I mean, you can just look at the doctrines and the way that the white man uses the judicial system, the prison system, and the court system to benefit him and take away from the black community. You can tell that those doctrines was being used in a way to benefit white America and disenfranchise black America. That's just the way it always has been. What's up, MJ and East Coast? Did I say East Coast? But that's all I was saying back in the day. And fast forward to 2025. Look at where we at now. We have a person in the White House that is validating everything that I said about how fragile the Constitution is. And my mindset was back then that if you got somebody that didn't want to listen to the Constitution or follow the Constitution, and you put them in charge, because of the way the laws are written, there is hardly nothing that you could do to stop them. Like that's what it is. And people was pushing back is that we got these three, pillars of law in this country: the judicial branch, the legislative, and the executive, and they supposed to be a check on each other. And I was trying to get across the message is, okay, so you got those three that they're supposed to be a check on each other, but what if somebody controlled all three of those? Then you wouldn't have no rule of law. You would have one person controlling everything. And here we are today. And you know, I'm not saying that I'm some type of damn prophet or fortune teller or whatever. I just look at humanity and see how fragile we are as a human species, and see how weak these doctrines are when it comes to religion, when it comes to the Constitution, and how the black community is being treated unfairly in this country, and justifying it by using the Constitution, but not holding white America to the same standards in that same doctrine. You can look at how many black people are locked up in this country and see that that's disproportionate according to how many white people are in this country, because they target us and they use those laws to criminalize us, right? And another perfect example is January the fucking 6th. When we watch all those criminals break every fucking law in the damn book by vandalizing the Capitol, going to shit in the Capitol, stopping a process of government while they was trying to elect President Biden, just shut the damn Washington, D.C. down. All of those people broke the law. And for a short amount of time, there was some accountability. But what happened when the white man got in charge to defend white people? He gave every one of them a pardon. The Constitution be damned. Laws be damned. That's a perfect example of how fragile the damn Constitution is. If you got somebody in charge and is in the position of power to not abide by the Constitution, then this fucking country ain't worth a shit. Every one of us is at risk because America elected a fucking maniac, narcissist, idiot to lead this country, and don't give a fuck about the values of this country, and is a racist, and will show you that he's a racist by currying favor to white America. Regardless of the Constitution, regardless of any amendments or rules that were put in place to make anything equal in this country, if it pertains to black people, then they're taking it away. That's all I was saying back in the day, is that how fragile the Constitution is. That's why whenever you heard Mr. Solutions come in here or Sarge come in here, when I said that you should take that Constitution and wipe your ass with it, that's what I meant. Because Donald Trump is proving that he is wiping his orange ass with that Constitution every day. He is not following the rule of law. So instead of attacking me for telling you how fragile this document is, I don't hear a word from them towards Donald Trump as he tramples all over the laws in this damn country. They used to say that no one is in this country above the law. There's no one above the law in this country. Well, that's not true. Well, the perception of that is not true anymore. There is not a law in this country that Donald Trump has not broken. But the right wing and people like Sarge and ABC don't say a goddamn thing once he breaks the law. Sarge's supposed to be a constitutionalist, right? Everybody used to come in here and call Sarge, well, Sarge, what about this? And Sarge, what about that? You never heard me ask that motherfucker a goddamn thing, because I know that he's full of shit. But, you know, I sit back and listen to the answers and him respond like he gave a fuck when he really didn't. I can't, well, you know, I keep saying that I can't believe that he was a state trooper, or I can't believe that he served in the military. But I can believe that he served in the military. And I can believe that he was a police officer. because they all have the same mindset when it comes to white supremacy and white superiority. And as he was doing those jobs, that's probably the mindset that he had on the job. You know, it's one of these things to where whenever you look at the actions of this administration and their unlawful behavior in this country, and you watch the response of the people who called themselves patriots at one time, and the people who criticized black people when they got arrested, and then they said all you had to do was comply, or they should have listened to the police officers. It's like these motherfuckers, they living in two different worlds. And whenever they accuse other people of doing something, it doesn't matter what it is. Whenever they accuse other people of doing something, it's like they are confessing to what they are doing. It doesn't matter. That you can take any category. They accuse the other side of being pedophiles. They accuse the other side of harming children. They accuse the other side of sex trafficking. They accuse the other side of infidelity. They accuse the other side of homosexuality. They accuse the other side of all these things. But what we heard actually was them confessing to what they are guilty of. Everything that they was accusing the other side, lawlessness, everything that they accused the other side of is actually what they were doing. They were actually confessing to all of these things. You remember the little the little slogan that you taught your children, stranger danger, be aware of you talking about them. They're the ones that is your children should be afraid of. Their accusations is always confessions. You can watch Donald Trump Jr. accuse people of being on cocaine, but that motherfucker high as shit every time you look at it. You can watch the Republican Party and Donald Trump accuse people of stealing elections, but they are the ones who got caught with their hand in the cookie jar whenever it came to stealing elections. It was a confession. Everything that they accuse the other side of is a fucking confession. But they've been programmed to use those accusations as talking points so they can call in here and interrupt what the fuck I'm saying. Oh, they'll talk about Barack Obama, or they'll say something that Joe Biden did, or they'll come up with some bullshit to disrupt the line of thinking of pointing them out. They call us Black Americans anti-American. They call us communists. They call us tyrants. Right? They call us Marxists. They call us all these things that are anti-American. But whenever you look at the military on the streets of America today, when you look at the ICE organization murdering citizens on the streets of America today, when you look at the funding directed to that organization, that accusation to the other side of being a tyrant is actually a confession. Because the tyranny that they are displaying today shows you that they were accusing us of being tyrants when it was in them to be tyrants. Because what we're looking at now, it's a tyranny. There has been a coup in America, and they've systematically dismantled democracy. They've funded a militia of brown coats in this country under the guise that they are going after illegal aliens. But as we seen last week, they're attacking Americans in Chicago. Like I said, their accusations of tyranny is nothing but confession. So whenever you get to Chicago, it's almost like the first step. Well, they've taken several first steps. It's one of the steps to roll back the progress of Black Americans in this country. That's what you're looking at. There is I can't be any clearer. Even though we are citizens of this country, even though we don't fall up under any of the directives of ICE in their immigration mission, what the Trump administration is counting on. And this is how ignorant they are, because I can see right through them. So follow me. The reason that they are going into supposedly crime-infested areas and blue cities for the crime is because of the supposed gang activity, the shootings and the violence, right? Because they believe Black people exist in this stereotypical mindset to where we just shoot and kill every goddamn body. So in their racist ass mindset, what they want to happen in Chicago is they want the gangs to retaliate. They want the people with guns to retaliate. They want to get shot at in Chicago. This is what they wanting. This is why you see an influx of white motherfucking tyranny being deployed in that area. They're trying to provoke action in Black areas. That's why you seen them attack Washington, D.C. the way they did. They wanted somebody to respond in such a manner to where they would have to use the full force of military at Black Americans. This is their target. So whenever you look at where they're going with all of that military gear, with all of those guns and bullets and pepper spray, whenever you look at what this is a military from white racist KKK that is trying to roll back all the freedoms and accomplishments of Black America. They're trying to paint a narrative that we are criminal and we deserve to be treated a certain way. Regardless of all the progress that we made in this country, the white racist believes in their mind that the progress we made is undue and we don't deserve it. So they're going to try to figure out a way to try to roll all that shit back. Ever since we landed over here in 1619, supposedly that's when the first slavery started in America. And we made this the richest country on the goddamn planet by picking they fucking cotton. And their white children fed off the tit of black women, cleaned their houses, build their roads, build their buildings, and then somewhere down the line we said, can we get a little justice? Can we get treated fairly in this country? Right? And it was always no. It was always, nigga, get in your place. That's always the way. You are not human. You are not equal to us. Now this is their ancestors' mindset. This is when you talk about what you call it, epigenetics, and when we're talking about the trauma of slavery being passed on through generations, and this is the way our community is, and this is why we suffer from systematic trauma over the years. The other side of their epigenetics is the mindset of superiority and racism. So it don't only work in one set of humans. White America has systematic sort of trauma that was passed on to them also. So as we working our way up in the cotton fields and taking care of their goddamn youngins, teaching them how to act, sit up straight, walk straight, sending them to goddamn school, as we fighting in their motherfucking wars for them. Only to come home to be denied the same type of benefits as white Americans. And when 1865 happened, right? The emancipation. See, no, before 1865, you had people that revolted, and you had the abolitionists and all this kind of stuff. That was before the emancipation. People like Nat Turner, right? You know, but they killed his ass, right? And then you had the emancipation, where they freed the slaves, or supposedly freed the slave, or abolished slavery, which slavery was never abolished in this damn country. I've said that over and over again. Slavery still exists in America. But anyway, after the emancipation, they tried to get into the schools and have equal rights and you know, separate but equal and all that kind of bullshit. You're always fighting and scraping a little bit at a time. But guess what happened to them? As I'm talking about our plight, at the same time we're going through those struggles, they are landowners. They are business owners. They're owning railways and banks. and passing on generational wealth. And we're asking to drink at the same goddamn water fountain. While their children have generational wealth passed on to them, we are not able to pass on shit to our kids. So we struggle, and we ask for equal rights, right? And somehow or another, a white woman can accuse a black child of saying something or whistling at her or whatever happened, and white men torture and murder that child in the most heinous way imaginable. And once again, this motherfucking country looks at those white men and they allow them to get away with killing a little black boy. And I don't know, eventually we get to the damn civil rights movements and all of these movements of us struggling, trying to just come up. You get your affirmative actions, you get your voting rights, you know, all of these things that we scraped and tried to become somewhat of normal citizens in this damn country. Everything from year to year, day to day that we scraped to achieve in this country, our ancestors did. That's what pissed me off about these damn pro-blacks on social media. Is that they shit on our ancestors. You know. And you know, I have my own problem with the way our ancestors did it, but I can recognize that they did the damn thing. Because with me being the way I am, I don't think that they needed to be up under this white Jesus doing it. But that white Jesus helped them accomplish it, and I benefit from it. You see what I'm saying? So I don't need to shit on them for doing what they had to do. And I won't. So, but I will, in present day, always emphasize that there's always a time in history where you need to do certain things because it wouldn't be history otherwise, right? But you grow out of those things, right? You evolve. So I can't look backwards and shit on them for doing what they had to do. But as you evolve and mature, you grow out of certain things, right? But anyway, all the accomplishments that our ancestors did, that we fought for, all through the redlining and the housing discrimination, all of this bullshit, and still make it to current day, and you still don't have equal pay. Black people unemployment is much higher than fucking white people. The income disparity in this country is greater than goddamn ever. I don't know. It's just that we constantly have always struggled to just maintain our heads above water while they had the fucking world handed to them on a golden goddamn platter. Now, all of those things, and I know I missed a lot of stuff, all of those things that we fought for in this country in 2025 or 2024, whenever this America elects a white racist piece of shit that is trying to roll back all of that shit I just said. All of that shit I just said. When they are the one literally assassinate our political leaders. They killed Medgar Evers. They killed Huey, the Black Panther leader. They killed Malcolm X. I know y'all gonna say, well, you know, that was Muslims killed Malcolm X, but you got to look at who put the battery in the motherfucker's back, right? They kill our leaders. And I'm giving you all of this so you can see the mentality of these motherfuckers, right? Because all of this goes together when you look at the invasion of black cities by ICE. This is just another part of the motherfucking story. It ain't no different than the 60s or the 20s or the 1600s. It ain't no motherfucking difference. And you've got to understand that I'm not saying this because I'm trying to scare people or being just being this extreme thinker or being hyperbolic or whatever. I'm not saying this. And and to me right now in this moment when I speak, I don't feel like it's coming from me. I feel like it's coming from a known history of my people that I'm telling you that what you're witnessing now ain't nothing new under the motherfucking sun when it comes to black people. I just feel like it. We seen this before. You know, you watch the damn Supreme Court roll back the voting or gut the Voting Rights Act. You watch the Supreme Court roll back affirmative action. We seen this before. And because we are in a political climate now to where people want to say that both sides has a point and people are willing to accept that narrative about both sides, they are able to openly be racist because of this both sides bullshit. There is no both sides when it comes to fucking racists. I've said that years ago. What you get when you take on that both sides mentality is you get the president of the United States and his whole administration showing up to the fucking memorial of one of the worst racists America has ever fucking known, named Charlie Kirk, who got a tracheotomy on live fucking TV. That's what you get when you both sides shit. See, David Duke would have never, when I was coming up, been able to be mainstream the way Charlie Kirk was. The leader of these extremist racist groups, when I was coming up, they even though they blindly supported them, they would have never been mainstream the way Charlie Kirk is. I saw a fucking Instagram video where this man was explaining that they was giving the children in elementary school Charlie Kirk fucking homework. That's what happens when you both sides shit. When you don't get rid of the goddamn extremists, people start accepting it as normal. That's why I said I can't trust shit a racist say. If the racists tell me that the sky is blue, I won't believe them. ABC and people like Howard won't believe. Well, I don't know about Howard no more. He used to question me about that. But I know ABC will question me when I tell them that. You cannot give them a fucking inch, or else you'll be watching their memorial on CNN, both sides in it. This is why you can't give a racist an inch. But what we watching now is white America trying to undo the history of black people in this country. We have an administration that has told the military leadership that the enemy is not foreign anymore. The enemy is not outside of our fucking borders anymore. The enemy is the people who follow the same laws and constitution that you follow as my military general. And within this country, I'm going to direct y'all forces inside of this country. Who the fuck do you think that they're trying to direct the military to? It's not the immigrants. Listen to what I'm saying. Because it would have been easy enough to tell them generals that the enemy is coming across our borders and they're migrants. That is not what he said. He said the enemy is from within. He did not disassociate the American ship whenever he told his generals that the enemy was inside this country. Now, let me ask you again, who the fuck do you think that he was trying to tell his generals about? It's not white America. It's not the people in fucking Utah. Who the hell do you think they were telling the military that the enemy is? See, they got a way of spreading racism without saying the racism. That's why whenever we look back at the Southern strategy that Lee Atwater was trying to run a political campaign by using dog whistles, right? Ugh. That's why they was trying to use dog whistles whenever it came to politics. I can't find his quote right now, but he basically told people, instead of calling, I don't want to get it wrong, so I'll find it. But I always quote shit wrong, and then I have to damn listen to people that, well, that ain't. They play semantics with me, and you know what? It ain't gonna take that damn long to find this quote, so that's what I'm gonna do. Hold on for a second. And I'll put it on the screen. Okay, here it is. I found it on Reddit. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I'll put it on the screen for you. It was his Southern strategy. Lee Atwater, this was 1981 interview on the Southern strategy, how the Republicans in the South had to adapt their messaging to appeal to voters to win elections. And it says, you start out by saying nigger, nigger, nigger in 1954. By 1968, you can't say nigger. That hurts you. Because in 1968, people wasn't calling people niggers. That backfires on you. So now you have to say stuff like forced busing, states' rights, and all of that stuff. And you're getting so abstract. That's the idea here, is to be abstract. Now you're talking about cutting taxes. And all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things. And the byproduct of them is black people get hurt the worst. They get hurt worse than whites. By using these dog whistle terms, you hurt blacks worse than whites. We want to cut this is much more abstract than saying the busing thing. And a hell of a lot more abstract than saying nigger, nigger, nigger. So basically, whenever he was talking about using states' rights and busing, just think about that as a strategy when you're listening to BLM and woke and DEI. Instead of them, see, this is how the Republicans think, is that they won't say black right up front, but you hear an awful lot of DEI. You hear an awful lot of fucking BLM or woke. They're talking about black people. The whole campaign is against DEI. Like Lee Atwater said, you can't use nigger, 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 but you can use DEI. So the political strategy of America nowadays is to go against DEI, quote unquote, black people. And that's what you see when you see the rollback of certain publications from black people telling the history of black people. They label works of art or historical art in museums DEI because it's associated with black people. Donald Trump even first came into this administration saying plane crashes was because of DEI. So when I tell you that this administration is targeting black America, you got to understand the language whenever they speaking and know that they're targeting you. And this is how our media fails us. Because if a country boy like me can decipher this fucking simple ass racist ass code, why the fuck ain't the media telling the rest of America what the Republican Party is fucking doing? Because they're complacent. They're complicit with what's going on. So you can't trust people on the left. You can't trust the media. The only people that you can trust is your own community. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying allow them to win at politics. That's the furthest thing I can say. But whenever you look at a white Republican or a Republican that don't understand, a white Democrat, whenever you look at a white Democrat or a Democrat that don't understand the plight of black America, you need to fucking keep both eyes on that motherfucker and don't trust him no further than you can throw him. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because these people will sell you out. They just, and they have been. And that's why you see a lot of anger in the black community towards the Democrat Party. I'm not saying a lot of that anger ain't just. I'm just saying there's some stupidity mixed with their anger because their anger allows them to allow the fucking racists to be in charge. You don't want to allow the fucking racists to be in charge. You so angry that you tell people not to show up and allow them to fucking win. Now you got fucking military invading your goddamn cities with fucking weapons and fucking pepper spray. This is what ADOS and what's the foundational Black Americans and Umar. This is what the fuck mindset y'all spreading out here, that it's okay for these racists to win and them enact tyranny in our country and invade our fucking cities with brown coats and fucking military. This is the mindset of ADOS in them. Vote down ballot and all that kind of bullshit. No, you don't want them to win. So you have to do what you have to do in order to fucking beat them. And that means you've got to be involved in politics. You just got to. If not for your sake, for your goddamn children or grandchildren's sake, you got to. Because we watching it now. And the sad thing is this is what I'm noticing now. There's a mindset that this reign is going to naturally end. I'm not so confident that that's going to happen. They're doing too much work. They're systematically installing people in positions to keep the other side from ever being in charge. I want the system to work because technically speaking, the way this administration is fucking up and how many fucking laws they breaking and how they violating the Constitution and how racist they're being, it should be an automatic win for the damn Democrat. It should be automatic. But that's the mindset that they have, and it's not automatic. And people are just waiting for this era to be over. And I think that's where we're misstepping at. Because if you just sit here and wait, what you're actually doing is you're allowing them to entrench themselves. So you can't remove them. To entrench themselves, like installing Supreme Court justices with lifetime positions, like installing federal judges with lifetime positions. They're entrenched. And then the next signal to watch for is, because Donald Trump, I don't know if he's going to make it past this term here, but you got to watch for who they're getting ready to try to uplift and put beside of Donald Trump. I don't know, because I don't think it's a JD Vance. I just don't think it's a JD Vance. He has an Indian wife. He has mixed children. And I just don't think that a JD Vance is going to do it. But you just need to watch for who the hell they're going to try to lift up besides Donald Trump. Because I don't think he's healthy. I don't think he's healthy. But if you pay attention to how they treated the racist Charlie Kirk and how they try to make him a martyr and how they just completely ignoring that this motherfucker is one of the most vilest people that ever walked the face of this goddamn planet, said all kinds of shit against women, all kinds of shit against black people. They just ignoring that. If you look at the mentality of the right and them not even acknowledging that this motherfucker is a piece of shit, then if something happened to Donald Trump, you know they're going to try to paint him as a motherfucking god. This is what they're going to do. So if something happened to him, then whatever the fuck he says is going to go. Now, I do have hope, which is right around the corner. So I need to start telling y'all to vote in your goddamn midterm. I need to start saying, don't sit on your ass. Don't fucking let this fucking time go by. Show up at your fucking precincts and vote for the fucking Democrats. It's getting about that time. It's October. And it really don't ramp up until right around voting season. But I'm telling y'all now, get your ass out and go fucking vote. Go vote. There is no reason for you to not to vote in the damn midterm. Find out what the hell is you watch these damn YouTube videos and TikToks and all of this stuff. You need to get on social media and find out what to do in your area so you can vote these motherfuckers out. I'm trying to tell you. But I have hope that the midterms might turn out in our favor. But if it doesn't, I am not going to be surprised. Because of all of the corruption and the manipulation that has happened thus far. I am not going to be surprised. So, whenever you're looking at ICE, invading our country, when you look at them just blatantly in your face ignore the world's biggest pedophile ring, the world's largest sex trafficking organization. Whenever you look at the Republican Party try to manipulate information that has harmed children by grown-ass white men having their way with those children, and then you look at people like Sarge and ABC not give a fuck. They don't care. They don't care about the kids. You got to ask yourself, are these people stupid? Like, and then whenever you say that, you sound arrogant because it's almost like you saying something that you know better than somebody else. But these people have got to be fucking slow. They have got to be some type of mental psychosis, something wrong with these motherfucking people. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. And then now that more information is getting put out there, it was this big uproar today about people finally coming to terms that Jeffrey Epstein most likely didn't kill his goddamn self. But no fucking shit. I said that when that man ended up dead. That he probably didn't kill his damn self. And everybody just programmed to go along with the narrative. So I just shut the hell up. Like, okay, well, it don't seem right to me. You know, that man, even though he was locked up, he still had something to live for. Because in this country, if you have money and influence, even though you're put behind fucking bars, you don't have it as bad as the poor person. Look at P. Diddy. He will be getting out in approximately 4 years from doing some of the most heinous shit that I've ever heard of. So Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a reason to kill his goddamn self. He really didn't. And Donald Trump was the damn president when Jeffrey Epstein died. I'm just saying. I ain't accusing him of nothing. But it was awfully convenient for him to die when one of his best friends frequented the island and where he got girls from to be masseuse on his island, and who he hung out at parties with underage girls from. It was awfully convenient for Jeffrey Epstein to kill himself when Donald Trump was president. And then the most professional, most equipped, one of the best police organizations on the fucking planet somehow or another for 2+ years, I'm talking about the FBI, could not share with the American public a clear picture of how Jeffrey Epstein died at a facility where he was supposed to be watched 24/7. The FBI can't explain to us how, up under that type of surveillance, was this man able to kill himself. Now, that's a big ass question by itself, and that's what I was thinking initially. Is this motherfucker was a really important prisoner, and they had him up on the surveillance? How the fuck did he die? And then they blame it on the guards. I can almost guarantee you that them guards' bank accounts will look a little bit better now. They can't kill him, so they have to pay him. That's what I'm assuming. But that man, there's no way in the world that man should have been able to kill himself if that was the case. And I don't think that he did. I don't think that he did, because Jeffrey Epstein was a powerful man, but his power was illegitimate. His power came from knowing the dirty secrets of other powerful men. His power involved the fucking crown of England and leadership all over this damn planet. His power involved knowing secrets on some of the most famous and rich people on the that's where his power came from. So I don't think, but he was wealthy. He was wealthy enough to own airplanes and helicopters and islands and houses all over the motherfucking place. So I don't think that he would have killed himself. But I do think that people didn't need for him to be alive because of the chance that he might say something. And I want you to notice that the Trump administration is in charge again. And what they did with Ghislaine Maxwell. They still haven't told us, the American citizens, why they moved a fucking sex trafficking pedophile to a low security prison. Those things just look strange to me. And Donald Trump, to me, might look goofy in front of the cameras and can't read and all this kind of stuff, but I guarantee you that when these damn cameras is off and Donald Trump is behind closed doors, I guarantee you that motherfucker is a tyrant. And the reason that I'm telling you is because some of the stories, I didn't believe it at the time. If you would have listened to some of the stories that Stormy Daniels said about people coming to her house and chasing her and her having to run away from strangers because, she believed that Trump was sending people after her. And I guess that porn star knows she got her head on a swivel. So she was able to duck and dodge and get away from these folks. That's what she was saying. So I don't know, guys. I believe that we headed down a damn path that you can't predict. You used to be able to say the politics is most likely going to go this way or most likely go the other way. And then if you're wrong, you could just adjust a little bit. But this is something that we've never been through. This is something that, as a black man, I don't even know how to respond to it. But I do know racism when I see it. And I do know indoctrinated racism and these microaggressions when I see it. You see more and more of it being displayed in society nowadays. You can see that the white America is focused on black America because as the white savage run around this country and shoot up schools, commit mass fucking murderers, and just, I don't know. There was a couple of more fucking white people who killed people since we talked the last time. That is, and I can pull them up if y'all want to, but they are allowed to shoot at police officers, just commit mass shootings, go to schools and kill children. But you don't never hear that ICE is focused on the white male terrorists in this country. You don't never hear that. But for some reason, they ended their ass up in Chicago when they should be focused on the white male incel in this damn country. Because that's who's committing most of the violence in this damn country. And just let me say, I don't know when to say when, but I do know that ICE being in Chicago is not enough for black people to push back. That's not enough. So I hope nobody gets triggered and do anything stupid. No, black Americans. I hope black Americans don't get triggered and do something stupid because ICE is in Chicago. So I just hope that's not the case. But I can tell you that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to provoke people with guns to come out there and oppose ICE. So I hope black Americans don't do that. And there would be a clear indication when to say when with these people. Now, the other week I was a little bothered because I keep hearing about these lynchings. Now, that's something to consider if that keeps happening because we got a known history there of lynchings in this country, and these people are not committing suicide. And whenever these people do commit lynching, it's just strange that they have a black face come out and say that it was a suicide in one instance. I was like, what do you mean? That doesn't make any damn sense. But the fact that the white racist administration has geared up and is showing up in black communities, what I'm saying as a black man, I don't think that their presence is enough to resist the way black people are known to resist. It just isn't. I mean, so they need to hold their damn horses. Let them do what, because they're on display right now. They're actually, if I can read them and actually show you that they are going after black Americans, then eventually the media will catch on. Somebody will fucking tell this story like it's supposed to be told, because I don't nobody give a shit about what I say, you know. But it's clear, it is clear that they are trying to provoke black people to take up arms against them. That's what they're trying to do. And I don't want this to happen, but I can guarantee you that they're going to get into some type of involvement with the people, and they're going to start shooting them. They're going to start killing them. And it's not up to me to say when about that situation, because I mean, shit. People need to defend themselves. But it's strange to me that we're up under tyranny right now. And the people that was actually warning us about tyranny are loving it. Turns out they love tyranny. Turns out ABC loves tyranny. Who knew that Sarge loves a tyrant? I didn't know. Because the way he talked about Barack Obama being a tyrant, the way that he talked about Barack Obama being a usurp, you would think that he would call out Donald Trump. Turns out he loved usurpation. Is that a word? Let me Google that. Sarge asked me, what did I know what usurp meant last week? Nigga, shut the fuck up. I know my English ain't that well, but I remember words. Usurpation. Okay, here go right here. See, it says taking a position. Y'all can't see that. Oh, y'all still can't see that. But Donald Trump is a usurp, and he's involved in usurpation. I hope I said that right. There you go, right there. It says the taking of a position of power of importance unlawfully or by force. That's what Donald Trump is. He's a usurp. But it turns out that he likes usurps. Turns out that he likes tyrants. Turns out that he yeah can y'all hear me? Yes, it turns out they don't give a fuck about tyrants. They don't give a shit about people breaking the law. They don't give a shit about the rule of law. They don't give a shit about the Constitution. They don't give a shit about patriotism. They don't give a shit about none of the shit that they was actually accusing the other side of. Like I said, their accusations were confessions. Every time they accused the other side of something, that's what they was confessing to liking. And initially I was scratching my head at it. I was saying maybe maybe they're gonna call in and oppose the fact that the Republican Party is protecting pedophiles. No, turns out apparently ABC and Sarge don't give a fuck about the children. ABC and Sarge don't give a shit about child sex trafficking. They don't give a fuck. They clearly don't care because they ran around here with their conspiracies about the Democrats eating children and drinking baby blood or whatever the fuck, monochrome or whatever the fuck that was, Pizzagate. They ran around here with all that shit because they were so concerned about the children. Now that we see the actual pedophile ring, we see the actual sex trafficking. And it's funny that it got exposed because the person that you support got elected. That is the strangest shit. Now you don't hear them saying shit about children, which means they support pedophilia. That's just a fact. They're disgusting people. Sarge don't give a damn. And that's what I be waiting on. I be waiting on them to say, you know what, Tyrone? You a dumbass country fool. And you stutter over your goddamn words. And I can't stand the damn ground that you walk on, but Donald Trump is wrong for not releasing the Epstein files. And I'll be like, okay, well shit. Now we can have a conversation. I don't like your stupid ass either, but I agree with you about that. They're so fucking programmed, they can't even do that. They're so programmed that they can watch this man break the law. Just like before I came on here, I heard them say something about Letitia James. Hold on for a minute. I didn't even get what was going on with her. Yeah, right here. Here's the news thing here. Yeah, so the Attorney General for New York, the Trump administration has indicted Letitia James. Now, I can guarantee you that Sarge, being a quote unquote scholar of law that he is, will come on here and just forget about the legality of how, the illegality of how wrong it is for them to indict Letitia James based off of her purchase of a summer home. What? He don't give a fuck about the law no more. He don't, as long as his political side is winning. Just like James Comey, I think that he's gonna make them look like a goddamn fool. He indicted James Comey last week, but I don't think that's gonna go anywhere. And I haven't looked into this, but this is the New York Post. I do not want to read that. Let's see what ABC News is saying. New York AG Letitia James indicted for alleged fraud following the pressure from Trump. But that headline just tells you everything. New York Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted on charges of alleged fraud, becoming the second political figure to in the span of 2 weeks to face prosecution after President Trump public demand that the Justice Department move now. Right there, they're telling you that this motherfucker is sending his Justice Department after people. James, who has successfully brought civil fraud case against Trump last year, leads multiple lawsuit challenges at his administration and policies, was indicted on federal charges of bank fraud and a charge of making false statements to financial institutions. A newly appointed U.S. attorney from the Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsay Holligan, he just put that lady in there to do this, announced that charges on Thursday. So that was today. That's why I ain't hear nothing about it. James was ordered to appear in court on October the 24th in Norfolk, Virginia. Holligan was named the U.S. attorney by Trump after Trump ousted her predecessor, Eric Siebert, who sources say had expressed doubts internally about bringing cases against James and the former FBI, James Comey. What did she do? I see bank fraud and false statements, but what kind of bank fraud? Okay, so it looks to me like James is very guilty of something. I really don't know, Trump said. Okay, so he don't know. This is nothing more than a continuation of the desperate weaponization of our justice system. That's what she said. These charges are baseless. Okay, I agree so far. No one is above the law. The charges is alleged to be. So I don't know what bank fraud. Let me see. Holligan last month bought an indictment against Comey. That's not what I'm looking for. So it's just give a general charge of bank fraud and false statements. So I don't know. But, my point here is this is retaliation because Donald Trump lost to Letitia James and became a 34-count felon. And this black woman did it. And there is no legal reason for him to even indict her, but he's using the power of his office to do it. Sarge don't give a shit that's breaking the goddamn law. And the sad thing is that he won't get held accountable for using the power of the president to actually do this. Look, it's 10:30. Y'all need to call in. Shit, I'm tired of talking. And they won't. He won't get held accountable for doing this and breaking the law, and he's going to get away with it. So that's the type of shit that I'm talking about that Sarge is ignoring. He ignores the fact that Donald Trump breaks the goddamn law. ABC don't give a fuck about him fucking with children. They don't give a shit about none of the shit that they see
here.
Sarge and the aggravator.
It was strange last
night.
Did
you see this video, Sarge?
My house powering this morning.
Literal fake news website. And I don't mean that in the way that y'all throw around.
That last week I made a video about Sarge. Because that night he came on saying some dumb shit that got pushed to him in the algorithm. And he came on here saying the same shit. And then as soon as I got up and started going through my phone, the same topic just popped up on my YouTube feed. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. So I made the video to try to show that this is the algorithm at work. And unless you are aware that you are going to get fed a bunch of bullshit, and if you don't do the goddamn research, then you're going to fall right down a rabbit hole to where they just keep feeding you this same bullshit. You're going to keep seeing it over and over and over and over again. And then I guess after a while, you start believing that shit, And it was strange. What the hell is we talking about any damn way? Oh, that nurse. That nurse that said that she talked to somebody that was taking fucking Tylenol. I mean that was an easy one there, but I just thought it was interesting that we was talking about it that night, and the first thing that pop up on my fucking YouTube feeds is that that fucking video about that. I'm glad somebody goddamn called in. So shit, I'm tired of talking. Who's this unknown caller?
Okay, now you call me out, nigga. You take your goddamn finger away from that fucking mute button. Let me respond to you.
Okay, but let me say hey to Sister Nobody first. What's up, Sister Nobody?
Hey. Let me pause the thing.
Huh?
Hey, Tyrone. Hello.
What's
I
happening?
just wanted to say hi.
Okay, yeah, I know you hit one to try to save me because I got tired of damn talking shit. I appreciate it.
I understand your pain, man. Play that video because I haven't seen sort of video of the algorithm.
Oh, you haven't heard it yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh well, when Sarge get done talking, I'll load it up because I got to go grab it.
Oh, you beat him up because he's a smart ass.
He ain't capable of it. That nigga ain't got the chops for it.
Okay.
He ain't capable.
Okay, well,
All he
Sarge.
got's a fucking mute button.
Okay, well, Sarge, how you doing tonight? Welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm doing fine, man. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing
How's
fine.
your health?
I'm doing
How's
all
your
right.
health?
I'm doing
You
all
better
right.
be in good shape for this pummeling you're about to get.
Okay, well, bring it on, brother.
All right, now look here. First of all, the only thing you did in that little dumbass video you did was to do precisely what you accused me of doing, taking the word of someone you probably never seen before with no corroboration and then positing it as the truth, which is precisely what you accused me of when I cited an article about it. But I guess you didn't notice that in your little self-righteousness, did you? Now let me go on, because I ain't finished yet.
Okay.
Again, you did precisely the same thing you accused me of doing. Next, you said that this woman has no credibility because as the Frontier Nurses, whatever head of organization is, she had to surrender her license. You provided no evidence that her license was surrendered or even that she had one to surrender. No evidence at all. You just take this woman on the TikTok video's word for it. Now, the Obamas surrendered their licenses. They surrendered the attorney's license. Now, how do I know that? Because I went to the Attorney Registration and Disciplinary Committee website that the Illinois Attorney Registration and Disciplinary Committee posts. It's still up. You can go there yourself and see it. And I told you years ago they surrendered their licenses, and I gave you a speculative reason as to why, because I talked to my lawyer friend who has successfully argued a case for the Supreme Court, used to be a member of the board of the Attorney Registration and Disciplinary Committee, and he explained to me that he believes, based upon what was given as the reason for it, why they suspended his license. And it appears it might have been because he lied on applications, and Michelle Obama's was suspended because she might have been caught up in an insurance fraud deal. So they voluntarily surrendered their licenses before any disciplinary action could be taken. Now, you didn't want to believe me at all when I said that. You said I was a liar. You said it wasn't true. I couldn't tell you anything about it. You didn't want to hear anything, despite the fact that I do have evidence that they did surrender their licenses for whatever reason, but you didn't want to hear it. And by the way, it's still up there. You can still find it. And it says they surrendered their license for administrative reasons. Now, I'm not finished. I'm just getting started.
I didn't.
Now, she said, in the video, the woman said, whoever it was called her. Now, this woman threw shade on her because she's asking, well, how did they get her number? Well, how does anyone know anybody get somebody's number? Unless she goes to find out how they did it. She just said how, and she got it. So, how did they get her number? Well, however they got it, they said they got it. I bet you she doesn't know a damn thing about it either. Like I said, you're accusing me of exactly what you're doing with this video. No corroboration from this woman whatsoever. Just her word And that means it's true because it's a gateway pundit, and she decided she wanted to discredit the gateway pundit. And by the way, this woman, Cyril-Tech, she does not believe that Tyranny causes autism. She said so. She doesn't believe it. She's simply saying crazy liberal white women, and there's a bunch of them out there. Again, liberal, progressive white women, miseducated by universities and colleges, are doing all kind of crazy shit, like saying things like carrying signs. When we talk about getting rid of illegal alien rapists, they carry signs, and the signs say this: I'd rather have a rapist than a racist. That's what these crazy motherfucking crazy, liberal, stupid, crazy white women do. They run around carrying signs like that. They got this suicidal empathy that they got from colleges and indoctrination. So why is it so surprising one of them might do something this crazy? It's just insane. You just couldn't believe it's possible. And so look, when you talk about algorithms, you are certainly the victim of an algorithm. You sound exactly like the Democrat Underground, the Democrat Socialists of America, Reddit, the Joy Reid, which is in the most nutty part. You get more fucking algorithms than ever because most of my research is done on government websites. That's why I get the majority of my information in well-written books. I don't go to ChatGPT for a goddamn thing. I don't go to Grok for a motherfucking thing because I don't trust none of that shit. You apparently do because they give you the information you want to hear. So look, as far as I'm concerned, that woman's full of shit. She's utterly uncorroborated. You accuse me of doing exactly what you're doing here with her, and I reject it completely, and you ain't proving a goddamn thing, nor do you care to. You just want to throw shade on me.
Hey, what state did you, for the disciplinary board, what state?
Illinois, the Attorney Registration and Disciplinary Committee. Go there and look at why did Obama and Michelle and Barack Obama surrender their attorney's license, and they did. They surrendered them, and it was for administrative reasons, they said. Now, there's several reasons you have to surrender your license. One of them is because you don't go through the continuing education that is required for you to maintain a license in Illinois. Another one is for misbehavior or malfeasance of some kind. Another one is to avoid further disciplinary action. Another is simply because you don't want to comply either with paying the fee or continuing the continuing education requirements. But who gives up a license when all they got to pay is $300 fucking in Illinois? It's only $300, and you go to some online classes and you can keep your license current. I mean, I know that he's the president of the United States and she was first lady, but you know, somehow it seems a little incongruent to me. It just does.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I got you, Elisa, but let me ask you this right here. Why are you saying that the Obamas surrendered their license?
Look, I'm not saying, because I went to the website and saw it there. Voluntary surrender.
Okay, so but
do you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
Yeah, I don't want to argue with you. I just want clarity.
Yeah, that's why I say they surrendered. Now, if they're lying about it, you take it up with them, not me.
But I just want clarity. What is the point of pointing out that they surrendered their license?
Because you were making a big deal out of the fact this woman had lost her license. You did. That's one of your points you made when you criticized me. Sarge was believing a woman had her license taken away. How do you fucking know? And you wouldn't want to believe me when I pointed out to you that the Obamas lost theirs. You didn't want to hear it. You said I was a liar.
Okay, so
that's why I said it. Are you pay attention to the threads in your own arguments, or you just say them and then you forget them like a dog?
Okay, so stop talking.
I don't forget them. I write down notes. When you said all this shit, I was writing notes like a motherfucker, because I know I got to call you on your shit, because you're going to try to run away from it first goddamn chance you get.
So are you going to do this, or are you going to allow me to speak?
Speak what you want to say, man. Okay. And let me know when you got corroboration from this woman.
Well, I want to say something.
Even if what she said is true, when she gave it to you, she didn't provide any. Even if everything she said is true.
Okay, so don't cut me off. And because Elisa wants to talk, and I just want to make sure that people understand that the Obamas gave up their license because they were no longer practicing, which makes plenty of sense. And this lady had her license revoked. There's a big goddamn difference because she was spreading misinformation. But Elisa, you can go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Tyrone, you answered that because I was going. I remember when all of the far right and the half lunatics and Trump derangement syndrome having people. I'm not talking about you, Sarge, but that was going around about they surrendered. No, they did not surrender their license. They voluntarily had them placed inactive because they weren't going to practice law. It was currently, at that time, and moving forward, we're not going to be practicing law anymore. And guess what? That's a common practice for a lot of lawyers who are not going, because my cousin did that when she wasn't going to. It's a common practice that they do. If they're not, they don't surrender their law. Who the hell would do that? They just put it inactive when they're not going to be practicing law for, I guess, a significant point in time. Barack was in dealing with the Senate, going to be running for the president, different things like that. So they placed them inactive, not surrender. And that was a vicious, vile lie that the Trump, not you, I'm talking about you, Charles, sorry, that the Trump derangement syndrome people were pushing. And I'm surprised that who brought this up this evening? Who brought that vicious lie up again? Did you, Tyrone?
No, he was trying to
Because I missed the
defend.
first
He was
part.
trying to defend that nurse when she was giving out bad COVID information, and she had her license revoked. He was
No,
trying to
that's
compare
not
that.
the point
Oh,
I was
yeah.
trying to make. I swear it's so hard for you to try to understand the points I'm trying to make when I speak as clearly as I do. I simply said I presented it as evidence of the fact that you rejected information you did not want to hear without even investigating. Now, see, Lisa is giving her version of events based upon her investigation. You provided none whatsoever. You always miss the point. You always miss the point. Lisa at least is giving us information that's based upon her study of the issue. You had nothing. You made comments with no basis whatsoever. You made assumptions about how this woman lost her nursing license. You made assumptions that all these things were true. You did precisely what you accused me of doing. That's the point I'm trying to make, not the details of it.
Well,
That's
Tyrone,
not
can I?
stupid to put out a false narrative like that. To
Yeah,
try to
so
prove a
Tyrone,
point.
yeah.
Let me tell you who I
Hold on,
spoke to.
Sarge.
I heard what Elisa said.
Sarge,
And
hold
let me
on.
tell you what I found out about it in my investigation. Now, Lisa's statement is certainly credible and would certainly seem to fit many of the facts. But then I asked my lawyer friend who served on that board. He was in hearings where lawyers had their licenses in question. And he said what he understands of the details indicated there may have been some form of attorney malfeasance in both of the voluntary surrender of their licenses. And yes, they did voluntarily surrender them as a way perhaps of heading off disciplinary action
Go ahead, Elisa.
for ethical
Oh,
violation.
yeah. Because my cousin, well, she's back now practicing law. And when she had found out that, I'm going to say, a particular type of cancer and had little children and stuff like that, both her and her husband lawyers, and my first cousin, and she what she did because she knew she was going to not be practicing for quite a few years. And so she had her license placed. You don't surrender your license, no. She had it placed inactive because it was going to be years. And years went by. She even wrote a children's book in between. She was since recovered, and she went back to like last year sometime and started practicing law again along with her husband. And I remember when that was going around about the Obamas, And I always kept that article in my files. Well, several articles about that in my files, fact checks and stuff. So if I heard it again, I would just present that information. But they said lawyers do that all the time. They voluntarily place it inactive because they're not going to be practicing again or for a significant period of time. That's just, I'm not a lawyer. It's not my profession. I can't say, but that's very, very common. Very common to do that.
And I'm not excluding that possibility. I'm really not excluding it. I'm not saying my version of events is correct. I'm simply saying I think it is possible either version is. The difference with Tyrone is he wants a gotcha moment. He's not interested in what the truth is, whatever it may be. He just wanted to have a gotcha moment, gotcha Sarge, see what an idiot you are, falling for all these algorithms and whatnot, not doing any research, blah, 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 blah. No, sir, you don't want the truth. You want your side to prevail, whatever it is. I'd like to know what the truth is. I'm willing to concede that Lisa's version may be correct and mine may be wrong. I don't know. But here's the thing about, like I said, the thing about you is you predetermine your mind no matter what the evidence is and no matter what you see, just like you did with the birth certificate. Even though I had two forensic document examiners, two of the best forensic document examination firms in the world saying there was a counterfeit. And gave specific reasons as to why and gave me reproducible results that I could do on my own computer. And you still rejected it.
Because you stupid.
Tyrone, who had their license revoked? Who are y'all talking about?
It's Nicole.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Well, yeah, Nicole Surotek.
Nicole
the nurse,
Surotek.
a nurse with Frontier, or with America Frontier Nurses.
Oh,
yeah,
that woman from last week.
Yeah,
okay.
License revoked. Now, I don't know if she had a license revoked. I don't think he does either. And that woman didn't provide any cooperation. She may have had it revoked. I don't know. That woman didn't provide any evidence that you could check to see if it had been. It may be true. See, this point I'm trying to make. He didn't provide any corroboration, neither that woman in that TikTok video. He just wanted to accept it because he wanted to believe it.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Nicole Surotek, and I put the link in the chat room. They had a board meeting in November the 16th to 17th to 22 to revoke her goddamn license. Here are the minutes, and here is the information where they revoked them because she was talking about misinformation. I will put the goddamn link in your chat room. You said I don't provide no goddamn evidence. Here is your goddamn evidence, you fucking moron. So
when did you provide that, and when did you learn that, dummy?
I'm not. Let me finish talking. There's your evidence.
We didn't know that before now, did you? You just decided you're going to start doing the research.
But so now you got the evidence. Now you got it. Wait
a minute, no.
You shut the fuck up.
Shut
the fuck up. You just went on a 30-minute fucking rampage about
how because you didn't know until now.
Oh.
That's why. And I stand by what I said. You didn't know until now. You just took her word for it.
Oh, God. Okay.
Now let me go on with another thing too.
You notice what they revoked?
You notice what they revoked her license for? Misinformation. We know how that shit worked. They did the same thing with some of the best doctors in the world when they were taking contrary positions to the accepted position on COVID, and we saw some of the finest epidemiologists in the world losing their licenses and getting kicked off of boards. So believe me, I'm not at all impressed by that.
So let Sister Nobody hear the video.
I'm just letting you know I'm not at all impressed, even if they did.
So let Sister Nobody hear the video and everybody else so they'll know what we're talking about. So here's the video.
We'll listen to it. And note what corroboration she provides at the moment she says it. And this guy didn't know any of that stuff when he first put this shit out there.
Okay, so I'm just going to play the video. And
you know you didn't, and don't you try to lie.
Okay,
because you know you didn't.
Okay, the point that I was trying to make, it was about the pregnant women conspiracy. And then when I made the video, what I was talking about is how the algorithms work.
And either she lost the license because she be telling, hell, you were willing to believe Michael Cohen, he's a convicted perjurer. Wait a minute, Michael Cohen is a convicted perjurer. You said you believe what he said about Donald Trump in his testimony at trial.
Okay.
You don't want to accept the word of a convicted perjurer. Is it not possible that this nurse who had her license revoked could be telling the truth about this? You
Okay,
don't want to believe a perjurer.
I'm not going to speak anymore. I'm just going to play the video.
I know you're not, because you've been caught and you've been
because
outed.
you won't let me
and
fucking
everybody
talk.
here knows you have.
No, you won't let me talk. That's why I'm not going to speak.
You've been outed.
You're doing it. You're doing it now.
Yeah, yeah. I think I made a good enough case. You go ahead and do it. You go ahead and try to make it up as best you can.
You won't shut up when I talk. You will not shut up when I talk. So here's the video, sister. Nobody. I'm just going to play it.
Okay, so this is happening.
Spoiler alert, she's about to describe something that absolutely is not happening. But the lie that she's about to tell is quickly spreading through online right-wing echo chambers, so we need to talk about it anyway.
So I have a friend that's a nurse, is an ER nurse, and lately there's been a spike of women coming in with poisoning because they took too much Tylenol.
Take note of the fact that she claims this is information she personally obtained from a nurse friend. That will be important soon, I promise.
These are adult women taking too much Tylenol out of spite for Trump.
Pregnant women of Tylenol overdoses would help his claim, not hurt it. If anything, we should be concerned about one of you idiots willingly sacrificing yourself in order to give your orange Lord and Savior extra evidence for his evidence-free claim. Anyway, remember how I mentioned a few moments ago that I knew where the lie she was regurgitating really came from? Yeah, it came from the Gateway Pundit, a literal fake news website. And I don't mean that in the way that y'all throw around fake news. I mean literally fake news. They are so notorious for lying that even CPAC wanted nothing to do with them. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy last year specifically because of how many defamation lawsuits they were getting hit with and losing. And just in case all of that wasn't enough to convince you the story is bullshit, the sole source for their article is a single video posted by Nicole Sirotek, a woman who first gained notoriety in 2020 after she began publicly claiming that nurses were being paid off to unalive patients in order to manufacture the appearance of a pandemic. In fact, she told so many dangerous lies that she was forced to surrender her nursing license in 2022 in lieu of disciplinary action. And now she's claiming that in the 12 or so hours after that infamous Tylenol press conference, a random man called her frantically at 4 a.m. to tell her that his liberal wife had intentionally OD'd on Tylenol out of spite for you-know-who, and that one of his first thoughts was to call a far-right whack job who he has never met and who has not had an active nursing license for multiple years, just to tell her how crazy his liberal life is. And if you're like me, you might be thinking, wait, how did this random man get her phone number in the middle of the night while also rushing his pregnant wife to the emergency room? Great question. Unfortunately, Nicole does not have a great answer for that one, simply claiming that
the guy got my phone number from somebody gave it to him.
But quite possibly the funniest part of all of this is that even in Nicole's video where she makes this claim that kicked off the entire debacle, Nicole admits that even she doesn't believe that Tylenol has anything to do with autism. And on that singular point, Nicole and I can definitely agree.
Now, the point that I was trying to make when that video popped up in my damn suggestions is that we was having the same conversation on the radio about this Tylenol and pregnant women, and for some reason I got fed through the algorithm a video with this same topic. Now, it just so happened in the conversation the lady that was making the claim about pregnant women was making the identical claim that Sarge was making, and she got it from the Gateway Pundit, just like Sarge got it from the Gateway Pundit. Plus, they was all quoting Nicole Sirotek, just like Sarge was quoting Nicole Sirotek. So in this video, and then we already discovered that Nicole Sirotek last week was a whack job. We already knew that. But this lady went on and spelled it out to that she got her license revoked, or she was caused to give up her license because she was trying to spread COVID conspiracy, saying that other nurses was killing people off during COVID to give the illusion of a goddamn pandemic. So they took a goddamn license. And this is the whack job that Sarge come on here last week and tonight to defend. And then he invoked the Obamas voluntarily giving up their fucking license to try to validate this bullshit goddamn conspiracy once again, instead of humbling himself and saying, you know what, Tyrone, that was a kind of crazy story about the pregnant women. So, I may just pull back on that a little bit. No, he wants to double down and scream and yell about the same goddamn conspiracy tonight. So I don't know what else to say. I can't argue with this man. He's fucking
losing your license does not mean you're not telling the truth about an incident or believing you are telling the truth about an incident you have been made aware of. I don't know why you think the two are mutually exclusive, but they are simply not. Or no one would ever take the testimony of anyone who's ever been convicted of perjury or belonged as a conspirator in a criminal enterprise.
Okay, so let me respond.
Like I said, Tyrone, you love to proclaim yourself the victor in something when you've not proven a thing, and nor have you been consistent in any of the arguments you advance. Your arguments are utterly inconsistent. They're all over the place, and they frequently have nothing to do with the issue of whether or not this woman's story is true, no matter what her background is. It may be false. It may be true. Neither you nor I know, and by the way, since the Human Health and Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy cited this matter, it just might be true. I would imagine his staff checked it out. If they didn't, he's going to have egg on his face. But he cited it. He's the head of Health and Human Services. So at least I got someone in authority using the same source I did. Now, if you want to say they're invalidated, be my guest. But you don't know, and neither do I, based upon the information I've given and the information you've given. The only thing you've been able to do is to throw some shade on the person relating the story, and for me, that's not good enough in and of itself.
Okay, so everything you said, go read the board minutes that I just posted in the chat room.
I just read them, and I just told you, even if she has lost it, that would not invalidate her from telling the truth about this particular incident.
Okay, that's the reason that they took her license.
I don't know where do you get this reasoning you have?
That's why they took her license.
Everything is determinative of what you wish to believe and what you wish us to believe, and that's not the way evidence is perceived. As a police officer, I never perceived information like that from snitches, or I wouldn't have learned a goddamn thing. They were criminals much of the time.
So
but
let
they
me
would
ask
tell
you.
me the truth.
So let me ask you. So you still believe pregnant women are taking?
They were criminals much of the time, but frequently they would be telling the truth or enough of the truth to lead me in the right direction.
So you still believe pregnant women are overdosing on Tylenol because of Trump?
I don't know for sure. I know she related the story, and given what I know about liberal, progressive, lunatic white women, I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
So do you believe it or not? That's what you're arguing.
What does I don't know mean to you?
So why are you arguing it then?
Well, I just said I don't know. I said I believe it is consistent with what I know about crazy, lunatic, liberal white women.
So if you don't know why you arguing...
It sounds like something that is credible, even if it's not true.
Okay, so if it's not true, why are we talking about it?
Because you are. You're the one that did the fucking video.
Because you came on here.
As far as I'm concerned, it was a passing story. Since I didn't have any definitive proof, I didn't plan to bring it up again. You're the one that made a big fucking video out of it. And you have the nerve to come to me with this shit.
You came on here and said that people were doing that.
You're the one that made a video out of it, man. That's why we're talking about it now.
Because you came on here and claimed that people were doing it. That's what you said.
No. Yes, at
but
first
I'll play my video to show you saying that.
I'll grant you could get it that way. Now, I gotta admit, yeah, I was willing to believe the story because I know how crazy these liberals are. They're fucking insane. So it didn't sound like it was incredible to me. They got suicidal empathy for people they should know should be locked up. They want to let them run around loose to show they're virtuous and all this shit. They're crazy. So why would this be so incredible that I just couldn't believe it might be true? But I will admit to you, let me admit to you clearly, definitively, and without any doubt, I have no corroboration for the story. No names have been given. No locations have been given. No hospital has been given. I cannot definitively prove it. Now, do you understand the words that just came out of my mouth?
Yes. So you believe that?
All right, good. So there, we'll leave it at that. I was prepared to leave it at that. You on
Okay.
me.
So you believed it last week, but you don't believe it this week.
Negro, I believed it was possibly true. Yes, I did. I didn't know it was true, but I believed it might be, yes.
So this week less, right? Not you know.
Yeah, this week less, because like I said, I just told you. I
Okay, so
cannot
we making
anything
progress.
definitively that I have no positive corroboration of. That goes for anything I say, including
Okay.
this.
Okay, so we making progress then. We making progress. Go ahead.
Tyrone.
Mhm.
Now, I was just going to say, you could see you picking. Anyway, he did say that the woman might have lost it. So I think she lost it. So I'll take that. And what else? I was getting ready to say something. No, but anyway, he did say that woman might have lost it. And she was out there saying that. So, but I will agree with Sarge on this. And I'm not just saying this to be stuck up or anything. That I can believe that some women would do stuff like that because we got a lot of crazy women out here.
All right,
But,
come on now, Lisa.
but,
Come on now, Lisa. Come
no,
on.
no,
now.
let me, no. Let me finish. Allow me to finish. But it would be crazy to MAGA women would do that. Because you remember, and I know liberal women, somebody who says they're liberal, they're not going to do nothing like that. You remember what was that was in the thing with the fish tank?
Ivermectin.
No, wait a minute. Yeah, and you could get it out of something to do with what was in a fish tank.
Yeah, that was the ivermectin.
And some mag.
Oh no,
Yeah,
there was ivermectin in the fish tank. What was that shit called in the fish tank?
It was something. I'll look it up in a minute. But it was something in fish, something to do with fish tanks or fish. And people took that, and somebody almost died or did die, ended up in the hospital. You remember that?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
remember
saying. You remember that? Now, if say like Joe Biden or Barack Obama and them had came out and had a crazy head of was it Health and Human Resources came out and said that Tylenol. I could see MAGA women doing that because them people took that fish tank thing. And remember, they almost died. You remember that?
Yep.
But that would usually be MAGA people who would do stupid stuff like that. So there are people who does things like that.
But wait a minute.
But
They would have died because the drug was inefficacious and didn't work, not because they overdosed on the drug. This was allegedly about a woman who deliberately took an overdose, knowing it's known to be fatal, in order to show the fact that Donald Trump's an idiot. That's the difference.
Ain't nobody
I found it. It said early in the pandemic, misinformed claims that circulated that chloroquine phosphate and additive used for the clean fish tank could prevent COVID. Yeah, people were taking that shit, chloroquine phosphate.
Yeah, but they weren't overdosing on it.
But they was getting sick from it. Sorry, that's what you said.
Well, okay. Look, there was misinformation about COVID. But not all of it that was contrary to the establishment's opinion about COVID was incorrect or even proven to be so. Yeah, there was a lot of information on both sides. There was even more misinformation from the establishment on COVID, like 14 days to slow the spread, like you won't get it if you get vaccinated. We all know all that sort of stuff was untrue. We know it. We know the most vulnerable people were not the people who were the most young. They were the least likely to be adversely affected by it. But they were acted as though they were the ones that were most at risk. We now know they were the ones that were at least at risk.
No.
So all kinds of misinformation came out there, and it wasn't just from those of us who would not toe the party line.
Okay, so what she was saying is most likely people on the right would be the ones taking the overdose on Tylenol because they
in that particular thing,
okay,
I don't know.
Can I please finish?
The chloroquine, yeah.
Okay, they took the ivermectin too, but the people on the right would be most likely the ones that overdose on Tylenol because you seen what they did during COVID. They took the chloroquine and they took the ivermectin. So, and whenever you say they didn't overdose, that is an overdose because it's toxic to goddamn human beings. So they shouldn't have took it at all.
All right. Let's just say misinformation abounded on both sides of the argument, and you can't say anything different if you're honest.
I'm not saying that because that's a lie.
No,
I didn't think you would.
I think some of the most craziest misinformation was on the right, and those people who were all hooked into QAnon. And I remember one I say was that was crazy. Well, I don't know which side this was on, but what was it about the 3G or the 4G? Remember? Do y'all
That
remember
was the
that?
right. That was the right. The 5G caused COVID. ABC said that dumb shit.
Because then that man had tried to blow up or shot up that AT&T or Verizon thing, remember? And then some black people picked, probably laughed. I don't know which, they probably, who knows? I don't think a lot of them, they were saying that because of our melanin. Now, that was the craziest thing that I had heard. And one of the reasons they were saying because it hadn't broke out real bad in Africa, and people didn't put their thinking caps on, like in certain places in Africa, because they didn't have a lot of people traveling in and out of those very rural areas.
Well, now
That's why the COVID.
RFK was saying that white people are more affected than black people from COVID, and I remember Tariq Nasheed saying that dumb shit.
Yeah, about the Africa, yeah, black people because our melanin. Yeah, that was dumb. That was real dumb. Now, one thing we found out later that they changed, because I was doing this too. Whenever I could get hold of disinfectant wipes, I was wiping down everything, remember all the food. Well, I always wash like the apples and oranges and things like that, like vegetables. And we was wiping down the boxes and everything with disinfectant wipes from, and then eventually they, with all the surfaces and things like that, then they realized, well, no, that's after a while. But I just think that was precaution. That was precautionary because they didn't know.
Yeah, they were
and it's best to tell people. I don't think anything was wrong with that. But the melanin thing was crazy. I never believed that. And I tell you, the thing about, what was it, the 3G or the 4G? I don't remember what that was.
It was 5G.
5G. And where I have and I tell you because I was scared of COVID, where my, what do you call it? You know the box they put in your Wi-Fi box? The box, whatever you call it. It's in my sitting room behind the sofa. That's where I sit and do a lot of my craft and art, things like that. It was behind the sofa. And from reading that online, I was like, oh my God, what that could be. I didn't think it was true. It didn't make sense. But I remember I had someone help me move my sofa from off the side of that wall. But you know what? It was so much of scary stuff. I didn't believe it. But I said, I'm just going to take a little precaution because you never know. Just help me move because it's a sleeper sofa. So I couldn't move it myself. I needed help. So I had got somebody to come help me move that. But there was a lot of stupid misinformation going on.
Well, for me, the craziest single thing in the whole sad affair, for me, I'm not speaking for anybody else. I speak to Sarge and nobody else. For me, the craziest thing was to disregard centuries of epidemiological practice and quarantine whole swaths of the healthy population and treat them as though they were disease and to shut down the economy of states and the public school system as a result. For me, that was the craziest thing of all of it. Forget the medicines, forget the opinions, that action by many of these blue states is imprisoning their own population, not letting them go to gym, not letting them go to religious services, not letting them visit their dying relatives in hospitals. For me, that was the most insane, tyrannical, and lunatic thing done out of all of it.
Okay, well, that's conspiracy, what you just said, man.
I said they disregarded centuries of epidemiological practice. You quarantine the sick, not the healthy.
Okay, so
but see,
don't cut me off.
Go ahead.
Don't cut me off.
Go ahead,
but throughout history, whenever there's been a pandemic, humans have always quarantined each other to not infect the next human being.
The sick, not the healthy.
Okay, whenever you're in your own house, Sarge, if somebody's got a bad flu or fever, you quarantine in your own goddamn house. But
yes,
you do.
Because you're a member of the family, you could have been exposed.
Yeah, but so society,
You don't assume the whole society's exposed.
I don't
because
understand.
few
I
people
really
in
don't
family
understand this little dynamic we got here. Whenever I talk, why the fuck do you have to talk at the same goddamn time? I'm not understanding that. I'm confused. I am really confused. You just made a goddamn claim that you promoted a conspiracy about how dangerous it was to quarantine, and all I'm trying to do is tell you
that's not what I said. See, I didn't say it was dangerous to quarantine. I said it was disregarded centuries of practice to mainly quarantine the sick and not the healthy and allow the normal functions of the society to go ahead.
They didn't
That's
quarantine.
I didn't say it was dangerous to quarantine.
Okay, shut up. Okay, so I'm gonna get this out.
You hear words I literally do not use.
I am not going. I'm going to get this out. So you shut up. They didn't quarantine the goddamn healthy. What they told you is if you got fucking sick, you needed to quarantine for X amount of goddamn days. This is what the fuck they said. This is what they said. So whenever you went to out in the supermarket and all that kind of stuff, first of all, you weren't supposed to go out if you was sick. But if you did and you didn't have any symptoms, there was a possibility that somebody in that area could be sick. So they did the spacing with the 6 feet and all that kind of stuff, which was a precaution. That wasn't a goddamn quarantine. When you say they quarantined the goddamn healthy, they didn't quarantine. I was running around this motherfucker with a mask on, and I wasn't quarantined at all. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You wasn't fucking quarantined. They ain't nobody tell you to stay in your goddamn house during COVID. They were suggesting that this whole nation was suggesting that, hey, there's a fucking pandemic. Be careful. But they ain't nobody quarantined the goddamn country. That's a damn lie. Damn, you stupid.
Okay, let me be a bit more precise.
Let Lisa talk.
You're right. I should be a bit more precise, and I will be. They quarantine you from things that keep you healthy, like your psychological and your psychic health, by going to church. They wouldn't let you go to church and have services. They wouldn't let you go to the gym. They kept you from going to school so you could be educated. They quarantine you from many of the things that are essential to a healthy and functioning society. So let me be a bit more precise. You're right. They didn't keep everybody who was healthy, locked them in the house, but they did quarantine them from normal essential functions because they had this panic and they wanted control. They wanted to see how much control we were willing to endure.
See that stupid shit right there. Go ahead, Elisa.
And that's not a conspiracy because
it's a fucking okay. It's a conspiracy. Cause who the fuck is they? Who the fuck is they? Who the fuck wanted control, Sarge? And when they got the control, what the fuck did they want to do with it? It's a goddamn conspiracy, you fucking moron. Jesus Christ. Whew. Go ahead, Elisa.
What I was just
put out executive orders, nigga. They wrote executive orders and they distributed them to their police officers and their health inspectors to shut down businesses, to shut down churches, and to shut down schools. Who the fuck are you to tell me there was no conspiracy? It wasn't a conspiracy. It was in plain fucking sight.
Who is they? Who is they?
In plain sight.
Who is they? Who the fuck is they?
What did I just say? Mayors, health inspectors, they wrote executive orders.
Okay, go ahead, Elisa. Okay, this guy's an
asshole.
What I was gonna say was when COVID first started working out and they realized that when the WHO announced that it was a global pandemic. I'll be honest, I think when they shut them damn schools down, that was the best decision that they made.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
Now, allow me to finish. When, in the beginning, they had to get a handle on it to find out how was it transmitting? How was it this? I mean, people were dying all over the place, all over the world. Let's not forget that. It wasn't just here. It was all over the world. All of the countries did the same thing. Now, they did not know in the beginning how it was passing from one another. Then when they realized that it's airborne, it wasn't on the solid surfaces and this and that. And then they realized many of people were walking around with it and it didn't affect them. They didn't as much as get a runny nose. Let's not forget that. And then we didn't have testing kits to see who had what. In the very beginning, we did it. They didn't have testing kits to see who had what. After they realized that they still realized it was airborne. Didn't have tests to test because a lot of people were walking around. It didn't affect. I know one of my nieces caught it. Had no idea. And the only way she found out because she works, she does nursing at a retirement home. And by that time, they were some of the first to get, they got those tests where they had to stick that thing way up your nostrils on first test. And she had no idea that she had it. And some of the other young nurses and stuff, very, very young, she was still in nursing school at that time. They had no idea. A lot of people had no idea they had anything. So during that time, the best thing to be cautious, you shut down everything till we get a handle on it. And once the test kits were able to come out in mass, they were nearing the vaccine. They knew it was not surfaces you had to worry about anymore. And they were able to mask and things. Because remember, masks were not even available to everybody. Remember? Because what happened was all of that stuff, and Trump screwed up the preparedness thing. So a lot of people didn't have masks. We didn't have enough masks and things to go around. They wanted to find out what type of mask that could prevent as much of the spread, not all of the spread, but as much of it. So the country was unprepared. So the best thing is for everybody to stay where you're at until we get a handle on it. And once they got a handle on it, things started opening back up. And the sick, you stay home. If you can't go to work, your job has to allow you to stay home for the amount of time until you have taken a test and you're COVID-free. That's what went on. If you would have just allowed things to people to do whatever they want, everybody didn't know whether or not they were sick. We had no tests to see who was sick. You might don't have COVID. You might just have a cold. You might have. So we should supposed to let things be open, skating rinks, the schools, the shopping centers, the churches, the everything. That thing would have spread even worse. And they were trying not to fracture our medical infrastructure, the hospitals and things like that. They were trying so they could be able to help those that were broke down, almost dead. So you could not have these people flying around and do. I don't see that makes the most sense to me. Does it make sense to you, Tyrone, when they didn't have a handle on it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes the most sense to me. And once they got a better understanding, and we had tests, they had to sent the test. All you had to do was get the thing online. Post office send you out some tests in a couple of days, or you could get the free test. They sent them out to all the pharmacies, to all of this. Then we get the test, take the test, make sure you this, that. And then more masks became available and different things like that. This stuff started opening up so that they don't have to cripple the hospitals. We got to get a handle on this thing. I don't understand why that's crazy. I don't understand why you let these little kids who are nothing but petri dishes and germ collectors keep the schools bust wide open, and then they go up and they're breathing on. You can't keep a mask on nobody 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. They're going to be breathing and using as little children. It was the best decision because every time they attempted in certain areas like Texas and places like that to open the schools, remember, we're just going to open the schools back up. Let's not act like we don't remember that. Every time in Texas and in Florida, they opened the schools back up and they had to end up shutting them back down because they would have a huge breakout of COVID. And then they would open them back up. And then the next thing you know, you found out they had to shut them back. That went on a lot in the red states. Y'all don't remember that? Every time they tried to let the kids go back to school, or every time a church defied opening their doors and letting the parishioners crowd in, then you would hear that they had a mass COVID outbreak up in there. I don't see anything wrong with allowing the experts and the people who deal with these things to get a damn handle on it before and let the people, y'all stay stationary until we get a handle on it. And guess what they did? And Trump made them certain things that because he had no choice. He was president. And when they put that warp speed on the vaccines and to get the the masks and the different things like that. I gave him praise for that. But then to say that they shouldn't have shut down all these things, the kids, every time a school tried to open, they had to shut back down in a couple of days. And you know that. We know that. You let people have a concert, Mary J. Blige concert, and all the young people go and crowd in. Look what happened at the White House when they had that thing at the Rose Garden. All them people broke that. Remember that, Tyrone?
Yep.
You remember that? And who was head of the health HUD? Him and his wife and all them up in the hospital and stuff, because they just all was all flipping and flying around up in the Rose Garden, no mask, no nothing, and they had a bad outbreak. Trump, I don't know if Trump caught it then, but a lot of them, Kellyanne Conway, all of them, and her daughter had told it on Twitter that her mother was up in the bed dead sick from COVID from that Rose Garden party that they had. I don't understand. You can be on one side of the political aisle and on the other side of the political aisle. But everybody needs to be up in the middle when it comes to the Hurricane Alex is dead. Because he went to a Republican rally or some kind of up in there dancing. Everybody needs to come to the middle. Be whatever side that you want to be on, right, left, middle, don't give a damn. But everybody needs to come to the middle where the common sense should be. And it should not have never have been people politicize a damn pandemic. That's what happened. And a lot of people died who didn't need to. A lot of people died who didn't need to. And
right.
The average person who used common sense is here today, and some people are here today out of pure luck.
That's absolutely right. And let me tell you something. Let me give you the distinction between a conspiracy and a fact. It is a fact that governors, mayors, and public officials wrote executive orders prohibiting people from taking their. That is a fact. That is not a conspiracy, Tyrone.
No one said it.
Let me give you my conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy theory, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a well-grounded conspiracy theory. I believe that the reason many of these executive orders were passed was to see how much control we were willing to tolerate from these tyrants, mainly in these blue states. Because Georgia opened up 2 weeks after they shut down. It never shut down again, and the COVID death rate was no higher here than anywhere else. And if not appreciably, if that. So the point I'm trying to make is that these people who did all this wanted to see how much control they could institute on us, and the COVID was the perfect ground for it due to the panic they created, the hysteria that they caused, and they used it to full advantage. Now that is a conspiracy theory. That is not a fact, but I'll bet you it's true.
All right, let me open this line right quick, but let me mute you right quick because I got to ask you, are you stupid? Are you really stupid? Because you come talking about tyranny during COVID, and you're living in the belly of tyranny right now when your party has closed down the government for control of people. Your party has taken away medical care. Your party has taken away social programs. They're firing government workers. Donald Trump is a tyrant in Washington right now, which really shows me that you don't give a goddamn about fucking tyranny. Like I said, whenever you throw the accusations, that's just a confession of what the fuck you really believe. Because as you don't care about tyranny. If you cared about tyranny right now, you would be able to identify the tyrannical control of the United States government right now as military is walking through the goddamn streets of this goddamn country, killing people, torturing people, putting them away in concentration goddamn camps, while Donald Trump has the control of the Department of Justice, the FBI, doing his fucking bidding. You don't give a fuck about no goddamn tyranny. So I don't want to hear you speak in opposition to tyranny ever again because you don't give a fuck about tyranny. Who's this unknown caller? I just opened your line. Who this?
Yeah, hello, you, Tyranny.
Hey, who is this?
Joe, hey,
Hey, what's up, Joe?
we could armchair quarterback the past COVID response all day and night. I mean, ABC does that every week. I mean, we could go on and on about that. But my concern is not so much what happened then, but what did we learn from it, and are we prepared to deal with something at that level today? And I think the question that we all have to ask ourselves is, do we trust the people that are in place right now to handle a response to an unknown pathogen that takes hold in this country? I don't have that confidence. I honestly don't have it. And it's a shame because the next pathogen is out there waiting. I mean, it's inevitable. It's just a matter of when. It's not a matter of if. And so, rather than arguing back and forth about what happened, what lessons did we learn from it? And can we apply those lessons so that we have a better response tomorrow? Because guess what? Our enemies are looking at this, and our enemies are looking at how we responded, all the fights going on over it, all the information and misinformation, however you deem it, that's going back and forth. And they're judging how to do what they need to do to attack us with this. So I'm just saying, as you guys, go back and forth, think about what are we going to do the next time. So
Well, according to this administration and JFK, we're gonna take cod liver oil to solve all our goddamn problems. Sarge is an idiot. I don't know what else to say. This guy is arguing a conversation that Donald Trump on every damn turn got wrong. He millions died in this goddamn country, and this guy is sitting up here still promoting those same conspiracy theories that got people killed in this goddamn country. Sarge is so full of shit that he took the goddamn vaccine. He took the motherfucking COVID shot. He quarantined. Sarge quarantined. He took the goddamn stimulus check. Sarge, you full of shit. You just so politically programmed. You don't understand that your ass is just spewing those fucking algorithms. That's what the hell you doing.
You're gonna fucking heckle me. You're gonna make a goddamn argument because you don't do that very well.
Okay.
You mind if I respond to you?
Go ahead.
God damn it, I'll fucking lecturing, hectoring me. The fuck, I ain't impressed. Not a bit. Now listen, I understand that, you don't want to revisit the past and all that. And, there's some merit in looking forward. But the problem is like when the boy cries wolf. When they cried wolf about this damn plague that this hit us, and they make it infinitely worse than it actually was, then the next time something occurs that may just warrant those practices that were previously unwarranted, the people will not be willing to do them. That's why it's important for us to have an accurate understanding of the past with regard to this. So we don't get a boy cries wolf syndrome, say, oh, that's what they said about COVID, and 96% of people in all age categories survived it. And the people that were the most vulnerable, 96% of them survived it. And the people that were least vulnerable who got it, 98.5% of them survived it. So let's get the facts straight so we don't have another case of what happened last time, and people will rely upon the people who are responsible for implementing sensible and efficacious policy. You don't seem to understand it because you're a brain numb, mind numb, zombie-ish, a stooge for the establishment left. Whatever they say, that's your marching tune, and that's what you run to.
All right, so shut up. I'm going to mute you. Okay, so his analogy is off. Whenever he's using the boy who cried wolf, I don't know. Y'all remember from elementary school, the boy cried wolf, and they won't never know damn wolf. But when the wolf finally came, nobody listened to the boy, right? So that analogy is way the fuck off because there wasn't no crying wolf in the pandemic. There was actually a goddamn pandemic. The wolf was fucking killing people by the millions, by the tens of fucking thousands. So your analogy is fucked up. So the fact that you're using that analogy means that you downplaying the goddamn pandemic on how serious it was. When people said that they was dying, when the first cases of the pandemic came to the United States, when Donald Trump was talking about on that cruise ship, and he allowed that cruise ship to come in, and he was telling those people that you to stay on the cruise ship or whatever. He was downplaying it then. That was the first case of the virus that I remember when Donald Trump was on a cruise ship or some bullshit. So there wasn't no crying wolf. So you use that analogy to downplay the goddamn pandemic, which is why your brain is failing you right now. There was actually people dying. What was that man named Herman Cain died from the goddamn coronavirus. There was a couple of radio hosts that died from the coronavirus. There was people on the right, a prominent, that died from the coronavirus. People in your area, probably died from the coronavirus. We know people on the phone here caught the coronavirus, and they was very sick. So it was a real thing. There was no crying wolf. So whenever you guys start doing that stuff to downplay the situation, means that you're not even taking the goddamn conversation serious. So your analogy was fucked up, you idiot.
It wasn't a wolf, it was a coyote at best. You're full of shit.
Well,
it wasn't a wolf.
Sarge, did you know anyone who died from COVID?
Not personally, no.
Okay, he's lying.
I did. I knew 5 people personally.
Motherfucker, how do you know I'm lying now?
Because you're
lying. You're willing to believe anything you want to believe, ain't you?
Because you live in Georgia.
Prove to me I'm lying. I don't know anybody personally who died.
Yeah, you live in Georgia.
Well, I had 5 family members. Can I say I had 5 family members who died?
I didn't know them personally. Damn.
Oh, well, can I say this? I lost.
He asked me, you probably knew somebody personally.
Yeah.
Said, no, I didn't know anyone personally who died. I knew people who died.
That's okay then. That's good.
Oh, okay, because
goddamn, why don't you say that? I speak English. What the fuck do you speak?
This man come over here to yell at me every night. Go ahead, Elisa.
No, I was just saying that I lost 5 family members, and I think it's 2 people from my old neighborhood when I was a teenager that passed. We saw it on but I know other people who lost family members and things like that because of COVID. I took it very seriously. The people that you know, died from it. So, not like first and second close cousins, but like third, fourth cousins. Well, no, one was like a second cousin. Then 2 people from my old neighborhood when I was a teenager, they died. Then a friend of mine, he lost both his parents. They were like in there, and he lost both of them. Then another close girlfriend of mine, her granddad, who was World War II veteran, he was in a retirement home. He died from COVID. And, so I had quite a bit of people who actually died from COVID. So that's why I took it. So I just think that they rang the alarm as they should. And I think they took the appropriate stances to keep people to stay away, because people aren't going to listen. People are not going to do what they're supposed to do. Sometimes you have to make them. That's the reason we have laws. If we didn't have laws, you would have people robbing and raping and killing and grip. Well, I don't know how much laws we have now, but maybe local laws we have. We don't have any laws on the federal level. But local laws, if we didn't have laws, people would do anything. And we know that. They would do anything.
Well, yeah, so to answer your question, I think we'll be ill prepared. Well, I think we're not prepared. And that's because...
No, we're not.
Because people like Sarge still out there exist. And if another pandemic happened, that we're primed to just believe this bullshit about where it come from and a Wuhan lab and lab leak and Dr. Fauci and all this kind of dumb shit that was getting spread out there. Bill Gates and all that shit that they was talking about, 5G, all that dumbass shit.
Yeah. I hope we don't have to go through this again, but we will.
Yeah, hey, Tyrone. There's people now that still don't even wash their damn hands after they take a crap in the bathroom. You know, anybody that works in an office or a setting where you have a lot of employees probably has seen 1 or 2 people that would just go to the bathroom, go in the stall, take a huge dump, and then walk right out.
Yeah, that's
Even in
disgusting.
2025, people are still doing that kind of crap. And so that's why I say, learn the lessons that we learn and apply them, because people pretty much will do things that work against them.
Yeah, that's disgusting. And it don't help that we have an administration that is full of so much goddamn chaos. Because what that does really is it make people forget about how important the pandemic was. People don't think the pandemic happened a long time ago, but these people full of so much shit that they just constantly got something going, and they make people forget what we went through. People were literally dying. They were sick. Jesus.
Yeah.
And then you got this idiot on the phone yelling that the whole nation was quarantined and all this kind of dumb shit. I don't know what the fuck wrote.
Tyrone, you seem to be disregarding all of the, and I'm going to give you the numbers in a minute. I can't got them right in hand, but I didn't get them. I did save them, and I was startled by the numbers that they were. People who died, say, of automobile accidents, the cause of death being blunt force trauma, but they were infected with COVID, and they were put down as a COVID death. Now, that was very frequent in many jurisdictions. It was reported as such, and it led to a great deal of misunderstanding about the lethality of the COVID virus, because many people had it, and many people got it and were pretty much unaffected by it. Their body made antibodies for it, and they got over it with nothing discernible. I got it. It didn't bother me that much.
Sarge, that's another one of those conspiracies.
No, no, it's not conspiracy. I'm going to give you the fucking number. You didn't challenge me now, nigga.
Sarge,
I'm going to get the number.
Sarge, I went through this shit with ABC.
Sarge, estimates of the numbers
Sarge,
of
can you please shut the fuck
up? Who were
up?
misreported as dying of COVID, who only were COVID infected. The COVID did not cause their death.
Okay, Sarge, that's another conspiracy. I went through
this. No, that's not a conspiracy. It's a fact.
Okay, I went through this shit with ABC endlessly, and I tried to explain to him, if you die of an automobile death, they count you dead as an automobile goddamn death. If you had COVID during that automobile death, you also had fucking COVID, but they didn't say COVID's what killed you. They was keeping track of the number of people who had fucking...
used it to
Can
mislead
you please
people
shut
in their
the fuck
reporting.
up? You see, you don't even want to hear the goddamn truth. They were just keeping track of how many people were infected in this country at the time. Rightfully so. So you trying to say if you had an automobile death and had COVID, disregard the fucking COVID, even though it's a fucking pandemic that's killing people, and just count the automobile death. That would be stupid. That would be dumb. What about the fucking emergency care workers that show up on the goddamn scene that could possibly be infected? What about when they get to the hospital, if you don't annotate that they have fucking COVID? What about the fucking mortician? Listen, it's just stupid to not count COVID. I don't know what the fuck to say to you. You stupid. But see, y'all was saying that, they was counting COVID for, instead of counting the automobile death, they were saying they died from COVID. That's a fucking lie. Jesus. And then ABC would play this fucking video of some lady saying that dumb shit. I forgot what the fuck. It was just, y'all just dumb. I don't know why. How did y'all get so stupid?
Okay, Negro, are you ready to hear the facts now, or do you just want to keep babbling?
Oh, you got it from another one of your conspiracy
Yeah, I got
websites?
the National Institute on Aging. It's a government health site. And they say on this health, I'll give you the link in the chat room. Many deaths attributed to natural causes during the COVID-19 pandemic may have been caused by other reasons. October 24th, 2024. So stop giving me your conspiracy shit. This is a government agency reporting this.
I don't believe your fucking links.
Well, you don't have to believe it. I don't care if you believe it or not. I know they did. Now, look, I know the people who were at the medical examiner's office reported the cause of death accurately. They reported it as blunt force trauma. But since they were doing a standard protocol at the time in many jurisdictions of testing for COVID infection as well, they would test to see if they had COVID antibodies or they had signs of the virus, and they would report it on up the chain. Well, guess what? Many other people with an agenda reported those as COVID deaths. not the people who initially took the information down. But you don't want to believe it because you wish to hold on to a little precious myth of the government doing no wrong whatsoever during the COVID pandemic. And that's a goddamn lie, every bit as much as you're accusing me of being a liar.
I never said that because the government did all kinds of wrong during the COVID pandemic. Starting with Donald Trump saying that it's going to be gone by Easter. Starting with Donald Trump saying a whole bunch of shit.
Lockdowns.
Starting with Donald Trump saying that you can get rid of it with Clorox or bleach or whatever the fuck
he didn't
said.
order any lockdowns.
Yeah, the government was fucked up during COVID. I never said what you
He did
just said.
not order one single lockdown in one single state. Not one. He had no authority to do it anyway, and he didn't want to anyway. He just gave the government's advice.
Donald Trump oversaw the closing of schools in this country.
He did not.
Shut the fuck
no
up.
authority over shutting down schools.
Can you shut
just
up?
Made that up.
Can you shut up? I did not make that up. Donald Trump oversaw the closing of goddamn schools in this country, and I applauded him for that. That was the only thing. One of the only things that I said Donald Trump made a good decision on, because that was him and his administration who got on TV and said that they won't shut down goddamn schools, Sarge. That is that's what it is. I don't know what to tell you. The fuck?
Okay, well look.
There was some things he did. I agree with you, Tyra. There was some things that he did that I gave him kudos for. It, like when they were doing the daily or every other day briefings, when they would come and brief, because you would have your governor give you a briefing, and then they would do, I think it was daily briefings or whatever it was. I think it was daily. I gave them kudos for that because the people needed to hear, and those turned into a bit of a mess. And then they cut it back to every few days or something like that. But I gave them kudos for trying to handle it. Because, I mean, to be president with something like this that's going on, it had to be rough. So I give people kudos and I do think, this is the thing, I do think he would have taken it more serious than what he did had he not had MAGA. I think it's his constituents and the QAnon, and a lot of that was going on, and he didn't want to piss them people off. So he pulled, because like when he was with the vaccine, and he was like, they're going to do this, and he put the warp speed or whatever it was they called. I think this whole pandemic thing scared him because he did an interview before it all broke out with, who was it, Woodward, Bernstein, Woodward, whichever one of it was. And he said that he was really very nervous. He said that he was very nervous about this thing once because they got the briefing and things before we did. And I think that he would have been more serious up on top of that because he was in control more of his faculties then. But I think his base, because they turned it, they politicized it. He didn't want to piss them off. So basically, he just went along with it. Because you remember when he was campaigning and stuff like that, and he said in one of the rallies or whatever that he's having, he said, well, I took the vaccine. I think you all, because he wants to take credit for the vaccine. Mm-hmm. And he said, because he with the warp speed, and he said, I took the vaccine, you know, and I think you all should take, and the people booed him at the rally. He said, well, remember that time out? Yep. And he was like, well, whatever, you know, do what you want. You don't like the vaccine. But I think he wanted to take the credit and the praise for pushing. They still had a lot of bumps along the way, but I think he would have loved to have taken, but his base politicized it.
Yeah, people.
You remember how crazy the QAnon people, they politicized it. They were even extra crazy, the QAnon. And I think had it not been for that, he would have done better by it. Because whoever who did the interview with him, he said that it had him shook when they talked, because he knew everything before we did. And he was telling them, they say this thing is going to be in, they say this, that. And I do believe, because he was more in control of himself, he probably would have done a much, much better job, but he let the base influence him.
Yeah, because
That's just my personal opinion.
his administration oversaw the school closing, almost immediately they started talking about reopening and all that kind of bullshit. So Sarge is confused about Donald Trump and the school closing because he did do it. But you're right in a way, Sarge, because he immediately started talking about opening schools up. So it was his base who made him.
His base did that. And then when they would talk about giving the people, what was it, the monies that we would be stimulus checks and stuff, I don't think he was necessarily for it or against it. But when it looked like that the House and stuff was going to pass all of that, he was like, we're going to do this. And I do honestly do. And I don't give Donald Trump kudos for a damn thing. But because I think he's evil. But when it came to the COVID, I think he would have done much better. Not much better, but a better job had it not been for his base. That's just my thoughts on that. And it seemed like he was attempted. And with the vaccine, he was gung-ho with the vaccine, but then they turned on it. And the conspiracy theory started. And the this and the that. So he's like, well, they don't want to. I think you should. I remember him saying, I took the vaccine, and I think you should. And he was like, these people is not having it. And he got booed, and he left it alone. That's crazy to me. It's crazy. So I'll give him that. And I always said that about him. I'll give him that. And every time he was wrong for this, but every time he called it when they was doing the briefings every day, because I used to watch him, because I paid attention more to my governors, but I used to watch their briefings. And he used to call it the China virus. Y'all remember he was doing that, the China. They told him stop saying that. But he did it. He would do it every time they told him to stop calling it the China virus. And then he was like, the China virus. And I would laugh every time because I knew he was pissing off his people around him because they asked him to stop it. But he did it anyway. I mean, people were sick and dying. I didn't give a damn what he called it. But I laughed at it. He was like, the China virus. And that made me laugh when he was doing that. So I'll give him his kudos on things when he was trying, but his base didn't give him any room to do anything. He didn't know what he was doing, but his base didn't give him any room to even try to figure out what to do. And that's the truth. That's my truth as I see.
Well, no, it's the truth,
and I'm
because
not
Sarge is still stuck on that stupid ass programming, them conspiracies. He's repeating them tonight, every damn one of them. Even though we done gone past the pandemic, Sarge still repeating that whole shit about the death count, and all this kind of dumb shit. All that shit was debunked a long time ago.
And then the people hated Fauci. They hated him.
Because the government is saying it too.
Your party, Sarge, would give Trump a break. Every time he tried to do some little something, looked like he might be going this direction, the people would just carry on. And a lot of that stuff, the people started believing all that old QAnon and all that old foolishness and stuff like that. Y'all didn't get a man a chance to even see if he could try to go along with it.
Because Trump said he liked the highly illiterate. He liked the dummy. That's what Sarge dumb is. He liked the highly illiterate.
And when was it? I think it was Woodward, but he talked about the interview he gave him just before COVID really bust loose. He said he was really telling him. He said Trump was really serious about how serious this was going to be. And he said he really meant that. He wasn't even serious about it. But his base didn't give him room to try, to think, to act, to seek. They had already made up their mind that it was this. So I blame him, but I also blame his base more. And he fell right into them and did what they wanted. And that's not me taking up for him. That's just how I saw it back then.
Yeah, the people that I mean, listen to Sarge. That's the reason why Donald Trump is the way he is. Is because he know he got dumbasses that is still going to promote what the fuck that stupid shit is. I don't know. I can't believe here he is so far removed from the pandemic, and Sarge is still stuck on that stupid shit. That's unbelievable.
We made it through, and that's what we need to look at. We made it through. The economy came back, coming back. We made it through. To rehash all that old stuff, I'm just saying how I saw it back then, and it was just a mess. It was a big mess. People politicized a pandemic, and Trump not being the smartest, he went along with it. He knew he was scared of that thing, and he even caught it, and he was real sick, and he had to stand up there. When he would stand up there knowing he was sick as a dog, and they had to take him to Walter Reed, but he still had to perform for them idiots. And Mike Pence, when he was debating, who was that hell he was debating?
Kamala?
I think it wasn't Kamala.
Well,
yeah, and he had COVID too. Because remember the flies was on him.
I think that was Kamala Harris.
And the flies was flying on him. He had looked so sick, but Trump had COVID at that time, so they didn't want to put it out that both of them had COVID because that would have looked. That's a security issue. That's a security issue. And Mike Pence was standing up there. They had him all makeup all over, but he was standing there doing the best he could. They had him all drugged up, and the flies kept landing on him. He was so sick.
Yeah, that was Kamala. Yeah, I mean, Trump said that he liked the highly uneducated. Let me see if this is that clip.
We love Nevada. We love Nevada. Thank you. A couple of months ago, we weren't expected to win this one. You know that, right? We weren't. Of course, if you listen to the pundits, we weren't expected to win too much, and now we're winning the country. And soon the country is going to start winning. We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. We're the smartest people. We're the most loyal people. And you know what I really am happy about? Because I've been saying it for a long time. 46% with the Hispanics. 46%. Number one with Hispanics.
Yep, and we got the poorly educated on the phone right here tonight in the form of Sarge. Sarge, he loves you. He loved the poorly educated, Sarge. Okay? That's why you still repeating that.
Yeah, well, you just wait until the Supreme Court reverses another stupid-ass federal judge who thinks she's commander-in-chief, and you won't say a goddamn word about being wrong again. You've been wrong in every goddamn constitutional decision to ever come before us in controversy on TRS. You ain't been right about one yet.
What the hell are you talking about now?
I'm talking about right now, you got a fucking stupid-ass federal judge, I forget her fucking name, some dummy, that Trump was forced to confirm because Mitch McConnell wanted her confirmed. Trump didn't nominate her. Mitch McConnell did. And for the sake of politics, that blue check shit they regularly do, he went along with Mitch McConnell and put her on the bench. Now this day thinks she's the commander-in-chief, and she's telling him he can't deploy troops to Illinois to protect federal property. Now, she's going to be reversed. You probably think that Trump is doing is unconstitutional. You get to the Supreme Court, it will be reversed, and you will never admit it, that you were wrong again, like you've been wrong about 14 other times.
So you're okay with federal troops being...
No, nigga, I ain't talking about that. Right now, I want to deal with you always being wrong about what's going to happen when it gets to the Supreme Court. You're always wrong.
I'm asking you, are you okay with federal troops being deployed?
Yes, I'm just fine with it, given the fact that 4 days ago, the Chicago police were specifically told not to respond to a request for help from federal officers at 39th and Kedzie in Broadview, Illinois. They were specifically told, do not aid them.
Okay, so you're confusing...
Now, goddammit, Chicago is giving Trump on a silver platter grounds to declare an insurrection.
You're talking about two different things. We were talking
No,
about...
I'm telling you why he's sending federal troops to Illinois, for precisely these sorts of reasons.
Well, you're talking about...
And you want to ignore them as usual.
You're talking about Portland, where he got denied at.
I'm talking about Illinois. What did I just say? You want to change the subject to Portland? Fine, we'll do that.
No,
what
judge denied Trump? What
the judge said he can't send the troops to Illinois.
Well, he's in Illinois, Sarge. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Look, man, I'm trying to explain to you. They got another judge that was going to deploy more troops. And the judge said he can't do it for 2 weeks. Got a new ruling from another fucking judge. These judges think they're commander-in-chief. They have a say-so in troop deployments. And you're okay with this.
Because it's illegal, Sarge. What Donald Trump
You're
is doing?
full of shit. You're wrong.
What Donald Trump is
Look,
doing?
even if there was no insurrection, Trump could deploy federal troops to protect any federal property anywhere in the United States without an insurrection or any disturbance.
Sorry, there's laws.
Do you agree with that or not, or do you think that's illegal? Just answer the question, please. What if there was no disturbance whatsoever? And the president, based on his judgment, right or wrong, that is a security measure, I'm going to send extra troops to federal facilities to guard them. Now, are you telling me that's illegal? Without a disturbance now.
Sorry, there was no disturbance.
You never want to answer questions I ask you because you know what you have to do.
Okay.
That's why you didn't answer.
I mean, you keep cutting.
I mean, if you were honest, you would answer my question and then make your statement, but you're not.
So, I'm trying to tell you why it's illegal. There was no disturbance. There was no insurrection.
It doesn't have to be to deploy federal troops to protect federal property.
Okay, see,
it doesn't have to be a disturbance.
See, now this is what I'm saying when you don't follow the goddamn law. The conditions.
What law? Okay, tell me the law.
Okay, shut the fuck up. The conditions for the fucking president to deploy these people is like extreme conditions. If there was a upheaval, the local law was out of control. If there was an insurrection, those are the conditions that the president can deploy federal troops. None of those conditions exist in Chicago, Illinois, Portland, or nowhere. They're they're making up fucking law. They're making up lies and saying that there is an insurrection. The deployment to Portland was a video that Donald Trump watched from 5 years ago and deployed the goddamn or tried to deploy the troops to Portland, which was a goddamn lie. So in Illinois, they're saying that there's all kind of upheaval. There's not. They're trying to deploy the federal troops to handle local law enforcement activities, which is illegal. That's what they're doing. So yeah, it's illegal what he's doing because there is no insurrection. You fucking moron. When did somebody in Illinois start an insurrection? An insurrection against fucking what? It's not true. See, this is the shit this is why Donald Trump loved the poorly educated. This is exactly why.
Okay, you had to mute me because you know goddamn what I'm about to tell you.
I'll let you talk now. Go ahead.
A new opening. All right, listen to me, Negro. Let me explain something to you. The President of the United States can deploy federal troops to protect any federal property without a disturbance, much less with one. Now, look, when the President of the United States deploys troops, he doesn't ask no goddamn federal judge permission to do it. All he got to do is deploy. Now, if he tried to deploy federal troops to enforce civil law absent an invocation of the 1807 Insurrection Act, I will agree with you, Tyrone. That is illegal.
It's
but
illegal what
if he
he's
does
doing.
invoke the Insurrection Act and he then deploys troops, I'm going to say, you go, Mr. President. Be my guest and keep it up.
Okay, Sarge, you know what? I don't know.
Now, if you want to say something different, you're going to reveal your ignorance.
I don't know what Donald Trump gave y'all motherfuckers to drink. I don't know why you, as a previous law enforcement officer, as an ex-soldier, is okay with military being on the streets of the United States of America. And Donald Trump is creating these circumstances so he can deploy. Now, I gave you my theory why he's attacking these black cities is because he want black people to.
Portland's not a black city.
He want black people
Portland's a bunch of crazy white people living there.
And he's not in Portland. He want black people.
Oh, he's in Illinois, but he's in Portland too. You said he's attacking these black cities. Portland is a mainly white city.
He's
Will
not.
You stop making shit up?
He's not in Portland. But the reason
Look,
that
he is in Portland. You just motherfucker. You ever listen to yourself?
Okay, listen.
That's what like you forget your train of thought for seconds before. What are you, a
We
dog?
was talking about Illinois. You was talking about Illinois.
We're talking about both of them. Are you not
well,
paying
I'm talking
attention?
about Illinois right now. I'm talking about Chicago specifically. And the reason
All right, what about Portland? Is that black enough, or is it too
I'm
white?
talking about Chicago. I'm talking about Chicago. The reason that
Okay,
he's
wait a minute. Before we go on to Chicago,
I'm gonna say what the fuck I got to say. You don't tell me when to talk and what the fuck to talk about. Shut up.
Portland mainly white or not?
Oh golly.
See, this is what I mean. When you get caught, you act like you playing a nut roll and you can't answer.
Because I know what the fuck I was getting ready to say, and I'm going to finish saying it. The reason
that you stuck on stupid. That's why.
Listen, you just don't like to hear me call your white daddy out. That's what the fuck
nigga,
the problem.
I swear to God,
Every time I get ready to fucking pin your white daddy to the damn wall. Every time I get ready to pin that white man to the damn wall, you interrupt me.
You made the statement about black cities, and Portland is a white city.
I'm talking, and I clarified and told you I'm talking about fucking Chicago.
Now that's the first time you did it.
Okay, who's this unknown caller? So please talk, because this motherfucker won't let me talk. Who's this unknown caller? Well, they just hung up. But I'm telling you that the reason that he's deploying to black cities is because he's trying to provoke black people to attack the units that he's deploying there. And I'm asking at every chance that I get for black people to not take the bait. Do not take the fucking bait. Do not fucking take the bait.
I don't know what videos you've been watching, but I've literally watched hours of video in Chicago in places where I used to work as a police officer. 39th and Kedzie is an area I know very well. And most of the people interacting with those ICE officers, and yes, attacking them, are white. They're not black.
Okay, so the children
of video, and I don't see that many black people in the crowd.
The children that they had in zip ties the other night was not white. The children when they raided that, shut the fuck up, nigga. The children that they had in zip ties wasn't white. The apartment building, shut the fuck up. I know you don't like to hear your white daddy called out. The apartment building that they raided in Chicago, they weren't fucking white. So what the fuck are you talking about?
If that's where you look, when you go fishing, you go where the fish are. You don't go where they're not.
Here's some more of these damn stupid ass analogies.
Sidewalk, you go where they live and where they reside. And let's face it, illegal aliens hide in the vast majority of people who are not illegal aliens. That's the ocean they swim in.
So you zip tie children. Is that what you're saying?
Temporarily to detain them, perhaps. I will leave that to the judgment.
6 and 7-year-old children. You zip tie fucking children. You sound like a fucking. You a fucking treasonous piece of shit. You're an anti-American fucking treasonous piece of shit. This is why the fuck you got.
Let them run away and get hurt.
Motherfuckers. What the hell is wrong with you?
Let them run away and get hurt.
What the fuck? Golly.
I mean, I don't know. You don't know much about crowd control, do you?
I ain't seen no zip ties on no white children yet. What the fuck?
If they're illegal aliens, and there's a lot of them, I think they would do exactly that.
Okay, Sarge, you full of shit. You can't
Most
justify.
Most of the people they're kicking around and pushing around and locking up and throwing down and putting them in handcuffs and zip ties are white. You're not looking at what I'm looking at. I've been looking at hours of it. Most of these people attacking the ICE agents are Hispanic and white.
Well, that's good for them.
They're not black. Will you stop with ISIS attacking black people?
Okay, who's this caller here?
Hello, Tyrone.
Hey, how you doing? What's happening?
They're not attacking. They're attacking cops. That's what they're doing over in Chicago. If that's what he's talking about, spraying them. I guess he hadn't heard about that. We don't need no half or whatever he is. If you say Trump, he loses his mind. So you don't waste your mind talking your voice on talking about the COVID, which people are still sick from COVID, and people can't, and then people losing their jobs. What is taking books out of the classroom and all this stuff got to do with that man being president? I don't see nothing he undid except made money for himself and his family. Nothing for this country. And I still asked you a question the other day. I don't know why you're losing your mind to come up here and waste time with us, because you're not convincing us of anything, and we're not afraid of nothing because you are. So you get that correct, right? Then you come up here with all that screaming and hollering. Don't nobody want to hear you with all that crap. Can't even respect Tyrone and him. We done told you to scoot on over to the other side, because everything to me, where you get your information out of books and out of Fox and Newsmax. That's where you go. You can't come up with nobody's name that you listen to. And he told them to shut the government down, and that's why they did it. And you heard Mega Mike say yesterday when they wanted to give paid to the military, he said that he was not going to open it up unless the president tells him. So the military people don't even care nothing about them, trying to pretend they do. And you do too. But you're a shame and a disgrace to this country. I'm going to keep telling you that until it sink in. So you can love what he's doing and everything he's doing and try to say it's not against the law and he's not breaking the law. But eventually this is going to come to an end. And then you're going to be sitting back in a corner crying because ICE just might attack you too. But we're not afraid of no illegals, and that is not the problem. They got it shut down, so they want to have Epstein. Then that lady can't even get sworn in, so she can do what she got to do, so they can open them files. But those files don't matter.
They're holding up that lady from swearing in because they that's crazy, ain't it?
That's right. It's just like they didn't give Obama his judge. So I thought that was right and good. But you want to sit right here and scream and holler about somebody being indicted. It's still not going to take the felon away from what he got on his record. I don't care who he indict or try to, whatever he try to do, it's still going to be in history, in the book that you ain't want to read. So you go sit your little self down somewhere with all that screaming and trying to convince somebody because you're talking to the wrong group of people. You don't talk, you're not, and then he want to mess with all the black mayors. You talking about he's not messing with black people. He's messing with the mayors. And then you got ICE over there agitating people, trying to stop. But the people on the street not even paying them any attention. That's why you don't see no anarchy going on like we did on January 6th that you can't even admit. So have a good one, Tyrone. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, I'm proud of black people right now. They holding what they got. I hope they don't take the damn bait.
And they gonna keep it down because they're not. The fight is not about us. We see who the fight is about. And Sarge got his little butt in the middle of it. And gonna be just like the what's his name, son. He gonna be going to prison right along with him.
But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to provoke black people.
Trying to provoke black people, and it's not working. And he's sitting up there waiting for someone to come out in the street so he can come. Didn't I tell you they tried to overthrow the government? That's all Sarge is waiting for. And your stimulus check that you're waiting for, you might be waiting a long time for it. I don't think you're going to get one. So that's why he's all up in arms and he wants some more money. And then I heard the Speaker of the House today said that lied on C-SPAN. All of that talking he was doing, telling that lie. And the lady asked him, he's the Speaker of the House, why don't he open it up? But they want him right here with this Democrat. So that's wearing out, too, because people tired of listening to it.
Yeah, what the fuck are they hiding in the Epstein file? Why don't they swear the lady in so they can release the damn files? Because Donald Trump and Sarge and ABC, they're all pedophiles, and they don't want this lady to fucking sign in or get sworn in.
But Tyrone, Margaret Taylor Greene don't even agree with what they're doing. Even she was a part of helping them do what they did, but she's not agreeing with them being shut down either. So Sarge want to talk about her, he'll have something bad to say about it because the chatters over there telling him that's what he'll come in and say, well, she was so-and-so. She's telling you that it shouldn't be shut down. So now he's confused and they confused, and he walking around with all this mess talking about nothing. So Sarge, you can scream through get your look, go out your hole, you run up and scream out there to it because we're not listening because it's not sinking in with us what you talking about. You can talk about something that happened, and it's always you. You not controlling nothing but the lips that you got on your face. And that's how you control it. Because what you said going in one ear, out the other one. And all that screaming is not accomplishing anything. So you keep on hanging out there with them. You keep on hanging out there with them. Because when they don't, not gonna, because we all look alike to them anyway. So when they get you, and we don't want to hear you come over here and cry and say they stopped you and they did this to you, and there's nothing you can do about it because you don't have no rights no more. So y'all have a good one. I've had my piece. And the people on the street saying we ain't gonna do nothing with what we're looking at because we already know what it is. Because we're that conscious. Everybody but Sonny. Sarge is not that conscious because he can't think. He want to think like them. That's the problem. And he come over here to try to indulge it into us, but we're not listening. Go find you somebody else who can get that too, and they might listen and believe it. But not here. The people on the street not thinking about you. You're going to be just like Candace Owens. And a few more. And Byron. All of them. If y'all see all of them, what happened to them, you should wake up.
Yeah, what happened to Byron Donald? I ain't heard from him. He's still
around. He's still around.
He did something to break the law. His wife. So I just want to talk about that.
What happened to his wife?
Certain things he got to telling on.
They got scandal going on.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Yeah, they got scandal. It's too deep to get into Tyrone, but they got scandal going on right there.
See, the people in the street know what's going on, so the people in the street going to keep on talking, and you're going to keep on screaming and hollering about nothing and repeating yourself about younger years. And then when it came to COVID, then other countries closed down, and they keep on talking about America with this and America with that.
That's a good point.
So, and I'm like, so why the other countries are not screaming about the same thing that they're doing over here? That's just a scapegoat to talk about COVID. But what he's doing now, he's got the government shut down and he's firing people.
Mm-hmm.
And he don't have
indicting people.
But they still gonna be peaceful. It's just like when they boycotted Target and when they boycotted all of them stores, the people on the street still doing it. They're not going out in the street. So they can find something else to do. And Stephen Miller, he's a part of what we see going on in the street that we're trying to create. And I see him on the run too. But Sarge don't have nothing to say about that. Only thing Sarge got to say something when it comes to black people. And he blamed them for everything that's going on. But we don't have nothing to do with it, Sarge. Put that in your psyche. He loves his uneducated people, and you follow right in the spot of the person he's talking about and some of the people. So y'all have a good one.
All right, man. Yeah, Tyrone, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm not going to get too deep into this because it's getting late. But you have brought up about what's it, Letitia James?
Yeah.
Yeah, being indicted, and I'm not going to get too deep into that because, but like I was reading a couple articles, there was like Pam Bondi, because he basically, when he was supposed to be sending her a message, a DM or whatever, he missed and put it out on Truth Social, telling her that they need to hurt. So the thing is, these people need to think, but they are thinking, but I'm not. But the thing is, like someone said, back with Richard Nixon with Watergate, he didn't go to prison, but his attorney general did.
Mm-hmm.
For the helping, he went to prison for trying to help him cover that stuff up. And Pam Bondi, if the America we want that we knew is gone, that's over with. It's never coming back. We get a hold of things. It'll be something different, something new, something different. That's what it will be. They can try to work their way back and go along with the Constitution and the different things, but the America that we want, that we knew, is over. It's gone now. But if we get a control and get a hang in the things that they're trying to do, a lot of people going to prison. I know you don't believe that. Trump's not, because for the things that he has immunity on, them people don't.
But that's
they don't have
though,
immunity for that stuff.
On his way out the door, he can do like Joe Biden and just pardon all those people like Joe Biden did when he pardoned Fauci and them. So I think that's what.
Do you think he gonna do? You think he gonna do that? No.
For somebody like Bondi, I think he will.
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to do that because they're not going to be able, like Letitia James and what's the other one it's nothing going to really come about from those prosecutions.
Yeah.
And he's going to be mad about that. Look how he treated Pence when Pence wouldn't go along with some of that stuff that he wanted to. He's not going to get those people any pardon. And what if he dropped dead?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's what I want to happen, Google. Trump isn't going to pardon Trump. People that worked for him before, he's turned on everybody. He's not going to get those people pardoned. And they have to think about that. Y'all do all these things, you don't have immunity.
They said that he had to Walter Reed tomorrow.
So the thing is, so and a lot of them, they not thinking about this stuff. Y'all out here just cracking y'all behinds out here, all they flying up in people's face like we got this and we ain't going nowhere. You don't know that. You don't know that you're going to be able to complete and do the things, or that that the tables won't get turned back. They don't know that yet. That's why they're moving at such a fast pace.
Right.
And
you're right. They're trying to make it permanent. You're absolutely right about that, and that's what I'm afraid of. If they make that,
but they haven't made it permanent. That's a lot that they would have to do. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people going to prison, and they need to look back in history. What happened trying to help Nixon to cover up Watergate? His attorney general went to prison, and Nixon got, well, because Ford was going to pardon Nixon anyway, if need be. Nixon wasn't going to no prison, but other people did. And that's what's going to happen to a lot of them. And I honestly believe we're going to see that. We're going to see what, because Trump is sick. There's something is wrong with him. He's sick, as we all know it. And he has dementia. And his decline is pretty bad. You'd have to be stupid. You'd have to be stupid, or you would have to ignore, just purposefully, not stupid. People are purposely ignoring his dementia and his sundowning and things like that. Because he didn't used to be this bad. I will admit that. I can easily admit that. When he was running for president back in, was it 2016? No, his dementia, for Google, my opinion, his dementia is bad. And the thing that he's saying, half the time he don't know what's going on, and it's bad, and something is wrong with him. And I realized that he needs to keep the orange makeup, because without it, when he's in court without it, and the people will look like this, he needs to keep the orange makeup, because it at least makes him look, he's not, in my opinion, for Google, he looks like a corpse. That man is not well at all. And his dementia, and that's why the drooping mouth and the way that big gait walk and the way he look, he doesn't have, most of the time he just talking like the side of his head. And he was like, they asked him about habeas corpus. He said, I don't know who that is. It's just different things like that. And talking about 9/11, he wrote a book warning people about 9/11, and he told Hex that this needs to be done. When not just the craziness, his mind is almost gone.
Yeah,
Tyrone.
Yeah, they ran Joe Biden over the damn coals, but they ain't saying shit about this old decrepit motherfucker.
Not the mainstream media is not talking about it. Alternative media. Now, one person, Lawrence O'Donnell, he run his ass over the coast every night. Mm-hmm. But and Rachel Maddow, Orange is in bad shape. Bad shape. And the things that he says, and he's not really even know. He be talking to people, talking about people that's standing right in front of him. He don't see them. That is one reason why you see Melania around him more. And she whispers to him to tell him, because he's in bad shape. He's on the decline really bad. And they know it. Everybody sees it. And he just
that's
says
why they
things off the wall.
They're letting Stephen Miller run the country. That's who the fuck all this.
That's what's happening. Because Trump his mind is almost gone. He's in bad predicament. And the mainstream media is not talking about it at all, with the exception of maybe a handful of people, but they're not talking about it at all. That man's mind is almost gone. They need to do the 25th Amendment and just go ahead and let what's his name? That Trump is in bad shape. He has no clue, and other people are telling him what to do. It's basically what's going on. They're telling him what to do. And if I didn't despise him with all of my being, I would have felt bad when they was like, well, are you considering suspending habeas corpus? He said, who? They said habeas corpus. Well, I don't know who that is. I'll let Pam Bondi handle that. And Pam Bondi said, no, we haven't had a discussion about that. And it's just the craziness. Every day you see how he's slipping, and that he disappears for days at a time. Then when he come back, he has the extra cake on stuff on his hand. This is just my opinion, Google, with all that extra stuff cake. And that disappearing, and different experts and doctors and stuff, they said they're not his doctor, but they can just when they talk about it, about what's going on with him. And that's why he just be disappeared for like 3 days. Then he comes back, then he disappeared for like 3 days, and a couple of days. That's what's going on with him. They talking about his annual physical. Whatever reason that they put out that he was going to Walter Reed is something that they need to do that they cannot do in that White House.
Well,
That's why he has to go
somebody
to.
said that he had his annual physical 5 months ago. So this ain't his annual.
He did. This is not his annual. It's something that they have to do that they cannot do, like go to him at the White House. He has to come in. So they set up what they said, some kind of meeting or something. No, he has to go to Walter Reed for them to do something that they cannot. He has to come there for them to do. So they made up this for some of his, and this is not time for his annual physical. And it's okay. If he wasn't sick, they're just going to Walter Reed for a checkup. But they're telling his annual physical. People know when that's fake physical, and they put out that he was healthier than everybody. He was more fit. He was the fittest president we have ever had. That type of stuff. The man is, in my opinion, for Google, he's ill. He's badly ill. And they're keeping it hidden, and other people is running things. And they lit him. He's planning on putting up a Nazi era Germany archway down by the Lincoln Memorial, down there, Mo. And they got pictures of, they lit him playing like archways in the ballroom and all the fake gold, fake gold-plated stuff. And he likes doing that kind of stuff. So basically, that's what they got him doing. Designing stuff. And that's really all he's doing. It's other people, Stephen Miller and different other people that's in his ear, and Project 2025 people. They're the ones running things. Trump ain't doing nothing. He's not doing anything. And that's the scary part, because you know he's not doing anything. He doesn't know what he's never a smart man, but that's the part that I'm scared about, is that he really is not doing anything. At least his first term, he was more together. This time, he's not. And them people just running wild. They just having a racist, white supremacist, evangelical, get rid of everybody's wet dreams. And the rich people with the money, we want this, we want to do that. Hopefully him and Elon did break, because that's a dangerous man too. I hope that break was for real, because then I'll tell you what Elon would have him doing. I hope that break was real. But this is very dangerous times right now. Very dangerous times. And people are able to do anything. And Trump don't know what's going on. Because like you said, you told Sarge, they showed him videos from the George Floyd riots. Well, protests and riots. And told him that's what was going on in Portland. That type of stuff. And he posted that.
Yeah, and that's what Sarge is promoting on the phone tonight. When he claimed that there's an insurrection and protecting federal buildings, and there ain't shit going on that requires the military.
Ain't nothing going on in Portland or Chicago. They showing them videos from when the people they did get kind of out of hand during the George Floyd protest.
Rightfully so. I think they should have got out of hand. I agree with that protest.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it getting out of hand, but I'm just saying. That's what they're showing him, and it was leaked out because Trump showed it too. Somebody put together a video of this is what people's like. Ain't nothing like that going on. Ain't nothing going on like that in Portland or in Chicago. That's not happening.
Yeah, that's what they put out today. They put out today that he put out when the police was in Florida, and they had palm trees and all that kind of shit in the video. And there ain't no palm trees in Chicago. They feeding that man bullshit, and he just following along.
They feeding him. Exactly. They feed him, and then he get an executive order. He write another executive. They're feeding him that stuff. He would probably have done it anyway, but they're feeding him fake stuff because he was talking about what's going on. I think he was talking about was it Chicago or in Portland? He was talking about because how they burning everything down and they're doing this and they're doing that. And when the firefighters, and I heard him saying that when they go to put out the fires, people are throwing rocks and bricks at the firefighters. And I saw the video. there's no fires going on there. And if there were, nobody's throwing rocks at anybody.
There's a
This
guy
is
in a
scary.
frog. There's a guy in a frog suit.
A frog suit, and somebody had on a chicken suit, and I saw somebody had on something looked like a bear suit, and some gay man was out there, revving it up like he talking about who he mostly all his own grinder, and they dancing and carrying on. It's nothing going on, but they're feeding that to him. Because when he's talking about what he saw and how they were throwing rocks at the firefighters, that's not true. That's just scary. But his people ignore that. It's a scary times. I agree with you. The United States said we knew it's done. It's over. We just have to make sure what's left isn't done. Mm-hmm. That's all. But what it was is over.
But look here, I'm finna leave you and Sarge and whoever else on this line. Here go ABC. What you want? ABC?
No, I'm getting.
ABC just called in. What you got before I hang up, nigga?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to.
Let me. Okay. Well, I guess he didn't want to say shit. You there, ABC? Oh, he hung up. All right, guys. Well, look, YouTube, y'all can call in. Lisa, appreciate it. Sarge, you still a dummy?
All right.
I'm gonna open up the lines here. Go ahead.
And we'll talk next week.
Okay. All right.
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.